Live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Space for Rent. Yay! Session one of a new little mini campaign. Mini for now. We'll see how that goes, but at least we have a few sessions planned, and this is an RPG set in the Space Casey universe. Now, last week we had our session 0 where we all built our characters and finalized some things about the world building and all of that. But today is the day that we actually begin the adventure. Hooray!
Yay!
I am Christiana Ellis. I will be the game master today. And our players, Spence.
Hi, I'm Spence. I play Patches. Patches is a murder bear.
Yes. I also have specific character introductions in mind in a minute. So just for now, just player, which no worries. I didn't tell you guys that in
sorry.
advance. So no, I didn't tell you in advance. How would you know? Okay. Lee Burdett.
Hi.
Nobilis Reed.
Hello.
And Mark Kilfoyle.
Hello.
All right. And let's see if I can figure out how to monitor Twitch chat on my phone while we play. Wouldn't that be cool?
I can get that if you want.
Yeah.
Well, that would be great. I would appreciate it, but I also want to be able to see it myself too. There we go.
Yes.
There we go. Okay. So, today, just as a brief, to complete the introduction thing here, the game that we are playing is based on the Bulldogs game from Galileo Games, which is a Fate core-based system. And so if you didn't listen to our Session 0 and you're not familiar with the Fate-based games, most roles are dealt with in a very similar way to D&D, except that instead of rolling a D20, you're rolling 4 fate dice, which are combinations of pluses, minuses, and blanks. And so the 4 fate dice will add up to some combination of net pluses and minuses, and then you add your skill number to it, and you're hitting for a target number. So there's no really obvious critical 20 or critical miss 1, but that's just how these things go. This is how this game works. But there's lots of other mechanics that I'm sure we'll be talking more as we go, but those are the basics. So let's begin. We begin with a star field, and the music swells, heroic, aspirational, soaring and strong. A sleek fighter shuttle zooms into view, zigging and zagging across the stars. Then the camera swings around behind it, and we see it is approaching the rear of an enormous set of engines, each thruster big enough to swallow an entire star cruiser. We follow the shuttle as it coasts along the side of this gigantic ship. As the camera pulls back, the shuttle shrinks to a vanishing point against the vast plane of the big ship's hull. We pass along rounded ridges, each one wider as the ship's hull expands, eventually reaching a cavernous maw of a cargo hold at the front, large enough to half swallow the full-sized space station it currently is carrying across the stars. Now the music gets a little fun and funky because it's time to meet the crew. We're going to get a shot of each of you doing something for a few seconds before you turn to the camera and smile. Please briefly describe what your character looks like and then what they are doing in this introduction shot. And so the first caption reads, Patches, played by Spence.
Patches is a 3.5 foot tall bear with white fur and brown ears and brown paws, and has a set of magnifying glasses on, looking at something under a microscope, and turns and gives a little smirk, not a full-on smile, but a little smirk, like I'm up to something.
All right. Next caption, Shemhazi. Is it, or Shemhazi? Shemhazi?
Let's just go with Shem.
Okay. Shem, played by Lee Burdett.
Shem is about a 5-foot bipedal cat. She has gold and black and gray stripes in her fur. Her fur is actually fairly thick and I wouldn't call her a long hair, but she definitely is fluffy. But she's wearing what looks like standard just general overalls that are gray. And what she's doing right now is she is typing furiously into a computer, and it looks like she is juggling coordinates for the ship. And she just gives a little distracted bat at the camera and goes back to what she's doing.
I love how you turned away from the camera to do the gesture of her turning to the camera.
Well, if this is her computer, then the camera is coming from this way.
Yes. All right, so the next caption, Rick Monroe, played by Nobilis Reed.
Rick is a sturdy-looking blonde fellow in a red baseball cap, a blue baseball cap, sitting at a console next to Shem, with his feet up, crossed on the console, a headset on, and he's got a smile on his face even before he turns to the camera. He's clearly talking to someone that he's friendly with, and completely unconcerned by whatever crisis Shem is currently dealing with. He just turns to the camera, flashes his pearly whites, gives a thumbs up sign, and then bursts out laughing at whatever he's listening to on the other end of the connection.
Very nice. The next caption, Butt Up, played by Mark Kilfoyle.
A room full of chaotic electronic parts, somewhat slightly swirling, as you can see the somewhat open hull somewhere in the room. It moves slightly one spot. A slimy green tentacle perches forward, seems to grab onto one handle, and another tentacle emerges from some feet away, holding onto a small part. And then a bucket emerges, attached to a slimy slob.
And then we feature a shot of a computerized face on a monitor. It looks stern for a moment and then shakes its head and laughs. And the caption says, Captain Nemo as himself. And that's NEMO, like an acronym. And now the music ramps up again, action-packed and exciting. And now we feature a rapid-fire montage of clips of the crew doing things. So let's get some of those shots.
Okay. Rick, with his arm on what could be the shoulder of some kind of alien. It is unclear whether that alien actually has shoulders. Furry, gigantic tusks coming out of its face, bug eyes, antennae, and more limbs than even insects would consider an appropriate number. And he's got a big tankard of something that doesn't slosh quite right, and he kind of bumps it up against the other guy's glass, who, if a bug-eyed monster could look confused, it does. In any case, he's clearly having a happy moment with some tremendously bizarre alien.
Sounds like he's having a happy moment at the bizarre alien.
Well,
The
bizarre alien hasn't punched him or anything,
Okay,
so it's
fair.
got to be at least somewhat happy.
All right. It's on its way.
I have an image of Shem and Patches talking kind of nonchalantly, and then Rick comes up and tries to pet one of them, and we both turn and hit and bear our teeth at him.
And he's like, all right. Not today, I get it.
And there's another scene of the green tentacles welding various contraptions with different parts spread around, and there's just this one little paw reaching out to grab one little piece and pull it back. And then it reaches out and the tentacle smacks her and she... What?
And I can see the later shot of that tentacle holding up some strange sort of contraption. It looks cobbled together from everything. There's a toothbrush in there. You're not sure really why. And toothbrushes don't normally sparkle, holding it up for the approval of Patches, who just sort of looks with that withering look that seems to slide off the slime.
And I pull a lever, and he goes through a filter, leaving the contraption.
The bucket kind of rolling around.
Yeah.
A sieve.
Yes, a sieve.
All right.
That would tickle.
So, and now the soaring music returns, and we're outside the ship again. We zoom in and in and in until we once again see the sleek shuttle now parked on the side of the massive ship, but beneath an enormous painted nameplate that says Juggernaut. We see that 4 spacesuited figures, one of them not very humanoid, have emerged from the shuttle, and they are painting something with a stencil beneath the nameplate. The music climaxes as they pull away the stencil and reveal a new sign which reads, "This space for rent." Then the camera pans away to the starfield once more with a caption, "Executive producer and game master, Christiana Ellis." All right. So, it's an ordinary day on the Juggernaut. It's the beginning of this particular day, and you have been called in for a briefing by Captain Nemo. Does he call you to the bridge or to the cafeteria? What do you think? Where are you guys for your morning briefing?
Probably on the bridge, since all of our offices are relatively near the bridge.
And we have a conference room there, right?
Yeah,
So-
there's
Yeah.
more than likely a conference room.
Okay, yeah. So I think everyone remembers the officers' conference room on the Enterprise.
Yeah.
But we should remind everybody that the bridge of the Juggernaut was originally designed for a much larger crew, and it's actually designed for the peak of efficiency, of ease of communication, but also privacy for each officer. So, of course, it is the pinnacle of good environmental design, the Cube Farm. But you have all been called out of your cubes for the moment, and you are in the conference room, and the display screen pops up with Captain Nemo's face. And he says, good morning, crew. I hope that you all rested well.
Oh yeah, just Ducky.
Hello, Captain.
Good morning, sir.
Rested well, sir.
Anybody want coffee?
As you all know, I am interested in improvement of our various mission parameters, and it has crossed my circuits that my lectures about efficiency to all of you have not actually achieved much additional efficiency from you. And so, as an experiment, today I would invite you all to self-assess and explain what tasks you worked on yesterday and how, in hindsight, you could have done them more efficiently.
Sounds great. I'm going to work on a coffee maker.
Sure. Do you want that in written form, Captain?
Oh no, share it with the group right now, please.
Oh. Delightful. Simply delightful.
Well, sir, if you don't mind me going first, I have to admit that the negotiations with the Vandermoors could have gone better if I had known that they were in fact an aquatic species, and opening the airlock without making sure that there was water on the other side of it for them to swim into That could have gone better, and I promise, sir, that I will in fact mop out that particular corridor before the day is over.
Excellent, Rick. This is exactly the sort of insight that I was hoping we would come across. So how about you, Patches? You indicated that this is a delightful exercise, so let's not delay your participation.
I just had so few areas that could be improved upon, Captain, so I was having trouble thinking of something, but I guess I could have locked my cubicle door so that I wouldn't be interrupted during my experimentation and was able to get my reports done efficiently, and maybe turned off my circuits so that I couldn't be interrupted.
That does raise, of course, the breach in protocol of you having installed a door on your cubicle. It is, against Regulation 247.6 Alpha that all cubicles must allow visibility into the cube at all times for supervisory purposes. I, of course, view you in a camera from several different angles, so it doesn't matter for me, but it is protocol, don't you know?
Well, with the nature of my experiments, Captain, it would be, in fact, dangerous to the safety of the bridge crew if my experiments were to, by accident, of course, become exposed to the air. Goodness, our poor Rick Monroe would be terribly ill if any contamination were to get into his sensitive systems.
So how about we make a roll?
All right.
Let's see. For that,
shall I either roll for me, sarcastic never, or
well, so that's where we'll get into this. So this is probably a rapport roll, I would think.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Before we get too far, our refresh should have kicked in, so I think we have fate points.
Oh yes. You should all have your current refresh worth of fate points. And as everyone watching will see, all the characters have certain aspects to their characters that they can invoke by spending a fate point to give themselves a bonus on the roll. And it is up to them to decide which rolls seem like they're important enough to justify spending fate points on them. But your rapport roll is building a relationship with someone to act friendly and to act cooperative, as though there is a good reason for you to have a door on your cube.
Oh, well then I'm totally going to the opposite of invoke.
Compel?
Compel.
Okay.
I'm totally going to compel my heritage, which is the chip the size of an asteroid.
Okay. Well, so here,
because she is not friendly.
Okay, so what that I think will mean is that a compel is the opposite of invoke, which means you gain a fate point, but it has to represent a meaningful complication. And so I think what that means in this case is if you want to compel right now, that means you fail the roll. You're not going to do the roll. Yeah. And so what that means is, I'm sorry, Patches, but protocol is protocol, and we'll have to find some other way to manage the personnel safety issues, but I'm sorry, I must ask, but up to remove the door on Patches' cube at once, please. What? After the meeting.
Oh.
I was halfway out the door.
I guess it's Rick's funeral, that's fine.
We're having a funeral?
We'll cross that bridge if we come to it, I suppose.
Now, don't you go worry about me. I've smelled worse things down on the farm.
Sure.
So, Shim, how about you? What of your activities yesterday do you think could have been done more efficiently?
Well, I didn't get in my 20-minute 4 o'clock nap or the 5 o'clock 20-minute nap. I think I need to reschedule my nap time so that they're all in just like one massive chunk. And then that way I can dedicate certain certain times when we're really, really busy and I will be sufficiently rested to take on all of those times. That might be a better way of dedicating myself to this. So,
Hey, Rick, you can pet her now.
I am not one to engage in non-consensual petting. I am, especially since after the last time. So I think I'll wait until I've got her permission. I think that's prudent.
Quite right. And in any case, I think I must insist, Shem, that you not nap during the briefing.
Hey, Shem.
Did you say something about coffee?
It'll be ready in about an hour. If I can figure out what this part does.
So, Butup, yeah, I know that you are always interested in improving your own efficiency. So, what do you think you could have done better yesterday?
I'm working on a rocket sled. I just got to figure out how to make it not crash, blow up occasionally, and stall. It really didn't go that well yesterday, so if I go to finish that, I'm sure I would be much more efficient. And if this coffee maker ever gets put back together, I'm going to try coffee.
I don't think that would be wise with your body chemistry. It's a dehydrator.
I don't know. I've never tried it before. Do we have to schedule an experiment?
I would be willing to test
Sure.
pilot that rocket sled for a reasonable fee.
I don't know if I can pay you for it. I don't know if I get paid.
That brings up the next subject, which is, of course, the rotation wheel of the crew chores. Today, wait, just a moment. Good news, crew. We have just been granted a new mission.
Oh, goody.
Where are we going? Or are we going anywhere?
We
haven't
are
gone anywhere
indeed.
once.
As you know, we, of course, are still en route to deliver the space station that we are currently carrying, but we have just been assigned a new side trip for additional profit.
Yay!
Yeah,
What's
he
that
instantly has Shem's undivided attention.
Yes, so it appears that there is a field of crystalline asteroids in the Celestis Nebula, and when radiation storms pass through this nebula, they cause the crystalline asteroids to fluoresce in a way that I am told many species find beautiful. And it happens that a group of elderly tourists has elected to employ our ship to guide them into an up-close tour to witness this celestial phenomena.
Can we harvest them?
The tourists?
It is not a proper thing to go harvesting old people.
I was talking about the luminescent fungus.
Yeah, you're sure about that?
I thought it was crystal.
It is. They are, in fact, crystalline asteroids.
Well, yeah, that.
Bets they're alive.
Well, as long as it does not impede the efficiency of our other primary tasks, which of course are to deliver a spectacular experience for our elderly tourists, and of course one that allows them to return home safely afterwards.
Sure.
And of course, we must not unduly delay the delivery of our space station. It will represent a delay of somewhat couple of days, and so there will be some need to assure the owners of the space station that there is no risk of damage to their equipment.
Well, aren't we taking like a shuttle or something?
Oh, no. The intent is to bring this group of tourists, there are 100 of them, to the observation deck and allow them to observe from the safety of the Juggernaut.
Oh, okay. So that's going to be on Shem to pilot us, make those course
Yeah.
corrections and maybe slow us down.
It will, in fact, actually require participation from all of you because there are a number of additional considerations. You see, the reason that they have decided to employ our ship is because this phenomenon is typically observed by robotic probes due to the extreme danger.
Ooh, extreme danger.
Yes.
Sounds
you see,
pretty.
We will, in fact, be
Danger.
flying through a nebula that is undergoing a radiation storm
Oh.
and
Fancy.
into a vast field of crystalline asteroids.
Radiation tickles.
Yeah, I remember that
Yeah.
experiment. That was fun.
And then
I glowed for a week.
the fluorescing asteroids themselves glow so brightly and with certain wavelengths of radiation so that all of the passengers observing the phenomena must wear special viewing glasses, and we will have to procure some.
Feels
Oh, wow, that sounds like something I could do. How soon before they arrive?
We are stopping to pick them up in just one day. It is convenient that we are passing by that particular location, and there is a market on that planet where I believe you should be able to procure the glasses. We will need to bring the passengers on board, and then we will begin our journey to the nebula.
So you have the specifications for the materials you need procured, Mr. Captain Sar?
I will need you, as the ship's quartermaster, to fulfill your responsibilities in terms of determining what is necessary and procuring same.
Do you
All right,
have
so same as usual. I haven't got any idea what you want, but you want it right away. All right, I got you, sir.
Precisely.
Yep.
Rick, I'll help you with that. I can get a list of specifications for our what are they, tourists? Whatever. Yeah.
Yes, they are journeying from a retirement home for veterans of the Celestis Wars.
Do we have a transcript of all of their different races? Because the specifications are going to be different.
They have a representative of the retirement home acting as cruise director, will be managing the patients, tourists, directly, but you will be able to procure that information from her.
Okay, great. Rick, you're talking to her. I am not talking to people.
Probably for the
Alright.
best.
All right. Coordinates, Captain.
And the screen, feeds out a list of the various destinations and coordinates where you're going to meet and pick up the group of tourists and then the nebula itself. And so the captain says, and so I look forward to hearing from all of you how you are progressing in determining what is needed in order to achieve our objective, which is, of course, no damage to the space station in transit, safe and entertaining experience for the tourists, and of course, safe return to their homes afterward. And, of course, we want to maintain a profitable journey at all costs.
Sure.
Profit at all costs. Gotcha, sir.
But, of course, we cannot allow any of the tourists to come to harm,
Why are you looking at me?
or any damage to the space station that we are carrying.
Why are you looking at me?
Look at me! Look at me!
With
can
my
fit in
many
the coffee
cameras,
pot.
I am, in fact, looking at all of you.
Right.
Dismissed. So, one of the things that is definitely a feature of this game is that, as opposed to Dungeons and Dragons, where it's more typical to just go somewhere, do a thing, and make one roll for it. In this type of game, you are going to be rolling frequently to discover information about things or to create advantages for yourself The idea being you might do 3 or 4 different preparation roles to try to set yourself up for success when it comes to the time to do the really important role. And so what I want to encourage you all to do is, as you start to think about how you're going to achieve various activities, think about things that you could do to set yourself up for success for the actual main event, so to speak. And that would include, of course, doing some research in terms of what sort of dangers you're heading into or what needs you're going to have and that sort of thing.
All right. Well, what is the name of the planet we're going to pick up these people?
Well, that's a good question. What is it?
Bob.
The planet Bob?
The planet Bob from Titan AE.
All right. Sure.
It's spelled with a Q. No one exactly knows where the Q goes, though.
Okay. The planet Bob with the silent Q.
Yeah. BQOB.
All right.
If we want to be really nasty about it.
All right.
Always.
So the first thing that I want to do is roll on contacts to know someone at Planet Bob who just happens to be in the multi-species eyewear industry.
Okay. Sounds good. So go ahead and make your contacts roll. And of course, you can also, invoke any of your aspects if you want, or, use your stunts as needed. You are responsible, of course, for those things.
Now, did you make an alteration in the Roll20 where we type in something fancy and it will do a calculation for our modifiers?
I didn't do that, but
if you click on the die icon, it will.
All right. So
It'll roll for you.
yeah. So
Yeah,
it looks
roll for
like
you, yeah.
your +3 skill has made your -3 roll into a net 0.
Yeah, and I am going to spend a fate point to re-roll that.
Okay. Ah!
Oh!
Oh!
Oh dear.
Hold on a second. I gotta test something here. These are not real rolls.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
No,
it's
you
not-
just. Yeah.
I just rolled real bad. That's all.
Yeah.
So,
Twice in a row.
You rolled exactly average. 0 is average in this game.
It's not when you're adding a +3 though. He
No.
rolled a -3 with a +3
Twice in a row.
from his skill.
Twice.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that should be an average with flair.
So, I think what you find, to your surprise,
Okay.
is
Sorry about
that you don't actually know anyone on this planet, which is unusual and a little bit dismaying. That you're going to have to just walk in there and make new friends. Good thing you're good at that. You're just going to have to show up at the market and hope you find something.
Yeah. Well, Shem, I think that the best thing we need to do here is go take the Tiger Shark and go out there ahead of time and procure the necessary stuff ahead of the ship, because if we wait till we get there, ain't going to be enough time.
Yeah. How much time do you need to prep for that? Because I've got to work on the astronavigation calculations. Because changing directions even a little bit is, with this thing.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. How about this? Can you bring me out there, drop me off, and come back, and I'll come back with the trip when the Juggernaut gets there.
Question. Can the Tiger Shark interface with the Juggernaut? Like, could I take him out there, run the calculations while he's doing his thing, and it feed into the Juggernaut's computers?
I think that is absolutely something the Tiger Shark would be capable of if you can figure out how to do it.
Okay.
And so, what I would say, though, is that this is a perfect example of, I believe you have a stunt for discovering things
Yeah.
about so you can roll, I think your stunt requires an engineering check.
Yeah, it's an engineering check, and then I have the grease monkey stunt, which is if it's a vehicle of any sort, you get it intuitively and completely.
Well, yeah, so the
Yeah.
key here is you're going to make a roll and you can add your bonus, but the roll here is if you can figure out how to link the computers so that you can be doing that calculation from the tiger
Yeah.
shark.
All right, so cross my fingers. 4 plus 2, number 6. So I
Yeah.
get 6 if I use my
6
stunt.
is pretty good, yeah. So I think you find that you are able to figure out how to link the navigational computers together so that you can perform these needed calculations from the tiger shark while en route to the planet Bob.
Okay. Yep.
All right. So if you recall the other the other potential hazards are the radiation storm and so you need to have the glasses, but you should probably know more about what this phenomena is.
I think that's going to fall to me and Butt Up.
Mhm.
All right.
I'm ready to go.
Hey, Butt Up. Remember when we did that experiment with radiation and it made you glow and tingle?
It was fun.
So
It hurt for a while, but I got over that part. The glowing was better.
I know. So we should run a diagnostic on that storm using the baseline that we had, just to see how many rads it has.
And I can get to work on a shield enhancer that will make sure to filter all that stuff out. Or
Exactly.
concentrate it into one spot. That could be a problem.
You know, we could harness that into something profitable. You never know. But let's first do the calculations first and see what we're up against.
All right, I'm ready to calculate. I have a pen.
I would like to either roll for science or systems, depending
Yeah,
on
I think
what you
science
say.
is the appropriate role here, and if Butt Up is
Okay.
helping, then you can have like an additional +1.
I'm helping.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, there you go.
yeah, I have a +4 in science.
Yes. So that's a pretty good roll with a 7. So you find, first of all, there is a very good reason that that this is this is something that usually people watch through robotic probes, because this is the radiation storm in this nebula creates this hazardous zeta radiation that normally the ship's shields would filter out, but it's so intense during the storm that your current shields are inadequate. And so you would need to enhance them, and you'll need to maintain them constantly throughout the storm to keep them from overloading.
They'll probably burn out when we're done, but that's okay.
Sure. We kind of want to have backups for us running away.
So, incidentally, you have discovered an aspect of the nebula which is hazardous zeta radiation.
Okay.
Nebula's got aspects.
They sure do.
So
This is fate. Everything got aspects.
Hot,
I can
hot
help.
aspects.
All Mama's Dylan's got aspects.
You
I
got
can help
aspects,
Butt
we
Up
got
with
aspects.
with working on the shields while everybody else is away, since I don't have anything that I can work on at the moment for the
Well,
glasses.
what you also discover, first of all, is that the radiation itself would, of course, be extremely harmful to any biological entities. Usually doesn't have any effect on equipment, like hardware.
Well, that's
like-
good.
But what you also see is that the fluorescing effect that it creates on these crystalline asteroids, if viewed with the without the special glasses, tends to melt people's eyeballs.
Okay. So among the shielding, maybe we also create or attempt to create a filter for the viewing platform. I don't know.
So like one big giant pair of one big giant pair of glasses over the whole viewing area. Now that is an efficiency that I think
Are you on the comms, Rick?
We'll have the
What
guys
if
left
I
yet? Are you
told you
still?
about doing that?
It's my job. That is one piece of efficiency I think Captain Nemo would be proud of.
Well, don't tell him I came up with it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, don't tell him I came up with it. I don't want that.
Now I have to say that given the size we're talking about, it may be hard to find sunglasses that big.
Well,
I
believe in you, Rick. Even though you're just young, you've done so well for yourself.
Yeah.
I'm confident in my abilities, but some things are just too weird.
Yeah, and so
I'll give it a try though.
What you see with that level of roll is the challenge with something like that, and what the special viewing glasses are designed to do is that the fluorescing varies dramatically. It flickers and rises and falls, and so in order to shield the eyeballs when it's at its brightest, but still make everything else visible at other times, you need it to be able to vary its intensity on a live, ongoing basis. And so that's the challenge. It's what the special glasses are designed to do automatically. So the risk would be if you just made it too much of a filter all the time, nobody would be able to see anything. And that would be disappointing. But if you make it too low all the time, melted eyeballs.
So
blind either way, really.
Yeah. I'm wondering what causes those glasses to work on that scale. Like, is it a living organism that automatically adapts? And could we maybe make a film to go over the glass in the observatory?
You think that would probably be pretty difficult. The way the glasses work is electronic. But you guys.
I mean, the other option would be to just make it make it a video screen, and just not tell them, and then have the light come through the video, and so the light is not actually touching them.
So just put them in one of the interior chambers. Tell them that they're in the observatory. Project some giant hologram or something like that of what's going on outside.
Project a view screen, yeah.
And then they
and then
don't
we do
know
a
the
flyby.
difference.
Yeah.
And hell, we wouldn't even have to go in the nebula for that.
Yeah.
I think there's one solid flaw in that whole thing, and that is it ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
You don't know. They're geriatric. They won't know.
I don't know. My Aunt Betty, she could see through a lie like nobody's business. I mean, I'm a pretty good liar, but she always caught me. She always knew exactly what I was going after about. And trying to lie to 100 of them at once, I don't know. I think
you are a good liar.
I'm a fabulous liar.
I believe that.
He's lying about that right now.
I believe that, like I believe that I am part human.
Which part?
That's exactly what I'm talking about, dear.
You're exactly as human? Is that an internal thing?
If you had a head, I would pat you on it right now.
I could make
Shem
one.
reaches over and pats butt up on the bucket.
You're not there. You're in the thing. You're flying. We're back on the ship talking to you via comm.
Oh,
I could be in two places at once. You don't know. Maybe my
Can you
bucket's with
explain
them.
yourself again? Do you know how dangerous that is? You're so much like the captain. It's terrible.
Thank you.
That
That's the
wasn't a.
nicest thing anyone's ever said to me.
That wasn't a. Oh, whatever.
The only other thing that I can think of is, so it is, so the observatory area is like covered in glass, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, space glass.
Yes.
Yeah, space glass.
Exactly.
Space glass. The only thing that I could think of is if we're going to be increasing the shields, if we could have some kind of like radiation absorption as part of that shield, so that it's cutting down on the amount of that's actually getting through. It might do a little bit of damage to the actual physical shields because, heat, but that might be a way of lessening how much we have to pay for these glasses.
Well, I hope we're not paying for it.
We're probably paying for it.
It's in the budget. Everything's in the budget. I don't know what the budget is, but it's all there.
So, just as far as all that goes, in the budget of this particular mission, the way all this works is the tickets have been purchased. So the amount of starting money is fixed. The amount of money that it costs you guys to do all of the rest of this basically eats up the profit. And so the cheaper you can achieve all of the different goals or fail to achieve them, the more the profit will be. But of course, if you don't satisfy the customers, they might want their money back.
Are they the only customers? I mean, aside from the actual satellites or the station itself, is there any other people here?
Oh yeah, all of the different conventions are still undergoing their normal business. This whole thing is like a little side trip on their longer mission.
Then maybe we should do something like what Rick said. Except not for these people, because they're savvy old people. But for everybody else, we could put them in another room and charge admission. That way we can make some more money, and we can pour that back into making sure everybody doesn't burn their eyeballs out.
That's a great idea, Butt-Up.
So, on this note with money, the Bulldogs base game uses what it calls credit boxes. Do you guys like that term, or we could call it something else? Space bucks, money chunks.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, space bucks is funnier, but credits is easier to remember.
Chunks o' credit.
Well, and the thing that we want to indicate too is that like a credits box is not like $1. It is a sum of money.
$2.
Yeah.
It's a little bit abstracted. So the point is though that like a 1 credit, ordinary things that you would buy day to day are we don't even track those, but a significant purchase might be 1 credit box that you are you pay attention to the price when you buy a thing that costs a credit box. 2 credit boxes starts to be that's a rare purchase for an individual. It would be pretty fancy, like not something you do very often. And then 3 credit boxes and up starts to be like either you're rich or you've been saving up. So what is that the amount of credits being obtained for
I would like to also point out that in Bulldogs, we start 9 credits in debt.
Yes.
9 credit boxes in debt.
So for things that are specifically to accomplish this mission, you do have the ability to spend from that income chunk that what the tickets have. So they've each paid for a ticket with 1 credit box each. So there's 100 credit boxes to start with, and however much things cost you to do is going to cut down on the ship's profit. That 100 credit boxes is not your guys' credit boxes. That is the ship's profit.
That's the ship's.
Yes. Yeah. Now, as much as that is a huge amount of money, This is not beyond Rick's ability to handle, because he's been on the ship for a little while, and this kind of thing happens. So he's not in any way intimidated by 100 credit boxes worth of budget, but he definitely would like to see a goodly portion of that go to the ship, because he knows that on occasion it has happened that a credit box or two has dropped off the truck on the way to the company. So, and now I am imagining them as actual like boxes full of little plastic chips.
Yeah. And I also think that as far as Shem goes, she's probably 11 or 12 credit boxes in debt at least, considering ongoing medical bills, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
All right.
Did Shem
So
stay in
are we
Buddha?
actually going forward with the plan of shuttling Rick out to the planet ahead of time on the Tiger Shark?
Yes.
That's what you all were
Yeah.
doing.
All right. So that seems like that's the plan then. So
I would like to suggest
Mhm.
that Shem could make a piloting roll to get us there super fast and give me extra time to do that, and basically give an advantage that I can use on an extra roll later.
well, so
Okay.
the advantage would need to be related to you getting there early.
Yeah. I mean, plenty of time.
Okay. Yeah.
Call it that.
Yeah. That's so. So yeah, let's have Shem make a piloting roll to see if you are able to get there quickly, or just kind of just ahead. Plenty of time,
Can I
or
use-
just barely enough time.
Yeah. Can I use my defensive flying stunt, gain +2 to pilot, to create an advantage?
Well,
By
but
performing an
it's to create an advantage specifically to hide your ship
In
somewhere.
combat.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I think
So,
just
let's
speed is not going to work there. So the Tiger Shark's
Yeah.
maneuverability, I believe, is +0. So that just means no change to your standard piloting roll. Now you could spend a fate point to invoke like your aptitude aspect and get a +2 or reroll.
Yeah.
You can also
Yeah, I
roll
think
first
so.
and then decide.
The shuttle also has, I guess, nothing that would apply. Maybe Swiss Army
Yeah.
ship, but yeah, or new
No.
ship Buddhist, but yeah.
Yeah. No, let's see what happens with the piloting roll. All right, so got a 5.
Yeah, 5's not too bad.
Yeah, I think I will spend a fate point to add 2 points to that.
Okay. Yeah, so I will definitely say that that is creating an advantage for Rick, that there's plenty of time.
Doesn't that count as like a success with flair? I've forgotten the.
Well, it
the
depends.
threshold.
So what ought to happen is that I should be telling you in advance what the score target is, because that you beating it by 3 is what determines whether it's a success with flair or not. And so I should tell you, I guess, what you're trying to meet, so we can know if it's yeah. So what I was thinking was a 4. So if you do spend the fate point to make it a 7, then that would be a success with style.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because the sooner I get him there, the longer I have to work on these navigational computations.
Yeah. So basically,
Yeah, So succeed with style means it has 2 free invocations on it.
Correct. Yeah, so what you did was you rolled pilot to create an advantage, and the advantage you created is plenty of time, and that can be invoked twice for free without spending a fate point. All right. So let's have. Are you just dropping Rick off, Shem, and then heading back to the Juggernaut, or are you taking advantage of the linked computers to just stay in the area but do your astro navigation from there?
I'm going to stay in the area. A, getaway ship. B, less likely to be disturbed.
Right.
Disturbed by excess shiny buttons.
So the question here is, are you going with Rick into the market, though?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So Rick,
All
on
right.
this planet, there's a big market in the biggest city. That seems like it would probably be the best location, unless you have other ideas.
Oh no, yeah, a big city is the right type of place for this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to.
If you want to try another context roll using your plenty of time advantage.
I think that I'm going to look for someone who can provide zeta radiation blocking eyewear.
Mm-hmm.
I think since we are in the general vicinity of this radiation cloud, that's not an unlikely thing to have happen. But let me roll on that, and actually
Target.
Oh, yeah. So I'm saying that the target here is only 2.
Okay. So I'm going to start there, and I rolled a 3, so I succeed.
Yes. So what you find, first of all, actually, before we get too far, let's have each of you.
You know what? I'm going to spend one of my invocations.
Okay.
To make that a success with style.
All right. What are you invoking?
The plenty of time.
Oh, okay.
Advantage.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that works.
So now it has 1 invocation left.
Correct. Okay, so before we go too much further here, though, let's have everyone describe something about this market. What is it? What is this place like? What are some of the things that you see, that Rick sees here as he navigates through the market?
So there are a lot of holographic ads that are interactive, and they are not used to seeing a human. Like, humans are very, 0.00%.
I thought it was already established that there's humans all everywhere.
They're new. They're new, though.
They're new.
Oh, okay.
They're rare. So when you see Rick and register that he is not one of their more frequent clientele, it kind of flips out. Hello, Earthling. Would you like to try our thing that does not apply to Earthlings?
The advertising algorithms are not optimized for humans yet.
Yes.
So basically, it's like your average email spam offering to enhance organs that you don't actually have.
Right.
Exactly.
Are you tired of shiny tentacles? Well, we know you are, so.
Try Bleep Up Glorp's Scale Polisher.
Yeah. All right.
Lycanthropy, it can happen, but we've got a great way to keep your fur in shape.
So what are some other details about this marketplace?
The chat says a Starbucks every 15 feet.
The one successful
Space
human
Starbucks,
export.
I think, right?
Yeah.
Space Starbucks.
Yes.
No, so what do they sell space coffee, or what is the primary product of these space Starbucks?
Ducks.
Ducks?
Starducks.
Starducks. All right.
It's edible. It's clickable. It's Starducks.
Yeah. So we can imagine that there's this particular species of space duck that, when eaten whole by certain alien races, gives them real pick-me-up. Starducks.
And there is a sister store, according to the chat, called Starbucks that has actually spacefaring deer.
Right? Yeah. So I will just briefly add, my ability to monitor the chat has failed me. So do let me know when the chat has opinions.
Sure.
Because I'm interested.
We can make all kinds of stuff up now.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mother Dragon.
Yes.
All right. So any other ideas? What kinds of other booths and shops are there in this market?
I spent everything on that holographic advertisement.
I want to say that there's lots of clothing stores. That this is a place that sees a lot of a lot of people coming in to buy fabric to make into clothes. So you've got lots of just different kinds of fabric blowing across the aisles, like competing like with fans and stuff, so that when you're walking down the aisle, you have very little visibility of what's in front of you. So you're walking down the aisles, and so there's all these clothing stores, but there's all these banners of fabric that are getting in your way of your visibility.
Very nice.
Mother Dragon says in the chat, wait, Christiana Ellis can't see what I'm typing. I'm free. I'm free.
I can review it
think-
later.
I think that there are a lot of food vendors here.
Yeah?
And the only problem being is the human olfactory senses aren't quite tuned to the combination of smells that could happen at this. So it alternately smells like dung, flaming Cheetos that are actually flaming, and jalapenos, but only turned up to 1,000. So it might be a little bit sneezy for Rick in there. Oh, this is like, how can we make Rick's life harder?
All right. Well, I think that does actually add and we've got a couple of aspects that could potentially be compelled against you there, Rick.
Okay, okay. Here's the compel I'm gonna offer.
All right.
The part that smells like dung is like, that smells like home. What incarnation? I gotta find out what that is. So he's gonna like try and seek out what it is that smells like the pig
So you're
farm.
homesick?
All right.
Yeah.
So mechanically, I think what this does is it eats up your other invocation of plenty of time. But what do you discover? What do you find that is so familiar?
He finds, well, it's already established that the smell comes from some of the food.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not actually, like, it doesn't actually look anything like dung. The stuff that smells so terrible is actually pink and sparkly, and is served like sliced off of a round, like a salami, only in kind of thick slabs. And,
It's space haggis.
it's and the locals, of course, think it's absolutely marvelous. Rick isn't quite ready to have a taste of it yet, but in the course of that is what actually drives him off to find an advertisement for the Zeta Radiation Protective Eyewear.
Yeah.
Maybe Rick can pick up a little sachet of the meat that he can wear around his neck to remind him of home.
Well, so yeah, you had a significant success with your primary objective, which was to find a place to buy these things. And so what you found is, first of all, there are lots of little booths that sell like one pair at a time, where you could easily buy like one here, one there, but that would be a big. It was not suitable for what your purposes. Which
I need to find me a wholesaler.
Right. So you actually find two different vendors that seem like they at least would say that they are able to meet your needs. One of them is a shop that looks very fancy and kind of pretentious. The other one is literally an alien in a space trench coat standing by a couple of boxes that look like they were stolen from somewhere, and he's like literally in an alley, like beckoning you over.
Hey, buddy, you want to buy a pair of Zeta glasses?
Ooh, look, it's an alley discount.
Now, there's Rick is always one with an eye for a discount, but he's also kind of an honest guy at heart. So what he's going to do? He's going to go to the first guy and get a quote
Okay.
And then take it to the other guy and say, "Now I know you can do better because I here got a quote from a competitor that says I can get it for such and such, and so I know you can probably do better." So he's going to try and use the second one to get this first one to bring down their price, because he would really rather not have to smuggle the glasses off the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So because that's just asking for extra trouble. But he's definitely not. But he is gonna talk to the first guy. So
Okay.
I don't know how we're gonna
Approaches the sketchy guy.
because special guy first. Like, I hear you can handle an order of 100 Zeta protecting glasses for a reasonable price.
Oh, yes, you have come to the right place. They call me Murderous Eddie. If you find a better price elsewhere, I kill you. I joke, it's just marketing.
See, well, I admire your honesty in revealing that kind of thing up front. It definitely gives me some solid feelings about how our negotiations are going to go. But so how much we talking for these here sunglasses?
Well, how many pairs do you need, my friend? What species shall be wearing them?
Do we know what species they are yet?
They're a whole variety.
You were supposed to get the roster from the cruise director.
Oh, that's right. Can we roll back, because this is not something Rick would have forgotten?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
So let's flash back then that on the way to the market, you contacted the cruise director.
Yes. Yes, I definitely want to do that.
That's fair. Okay, so we can just briefly we can role play that.
Well, how about we go to somebody else, because I've been playing for a while.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you up to on the shuttle, Shem? Are you just you're trying to do your calculations of determining what's going to need to happen in the asteroid field? Okay. All right. So not doing the calculations then. All right.
I think that's a compel worthy of a fate point. There.
Yes, I think so. So I think, yes, you get a fate point for compelling cat-like everything that you nap instead of doing your calculations. So what that probably means is you're going to have to figure it out on the fly, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay, what about Butt Up and Patches? What are you guys getting up to?
I think we're working on the shields, like shield modifications, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking. So these
Wait. What area view does the thinking?
yes.
Does not answer direct question about anatomy. Okay, proceed.
So this radiation is really powerful, right?
Yeah.
So power is one of the things we need, right? So if we can build a collector that can collect some of the power, we can probably use it to help power the shields.
Actually, that's not a terrible idea.
Thank
we
you.
Get it done in time.
Oh, I'm sure we can get done in time, or at least it'll be close enough.
I don't want to have my fur singed.
Well, you don't have to necessarily be outside. I could be outside, although I don't think that would be something I could survive. That would hurt a lot.
And then I would lose my most favorite test subject. I mean, what?
You're so nice to me.
That's our secret.
Secrets.
Yes, we have a secret. And then Captain Nemo's like, actually, no, you don't.
That's okay. I share all my secrets with Captain Nemo. He's my friend.
So, all right. So then we try to develop a radiation capture device in order to charge and maintain the shields.
So mechanically, I'm looking at creating an advantage.
Yes. So I think right now, what you know from your previous roll is the current shields are inadequate and would overload almost right away. So what you need is something that the goal would be to have them not overload under the assault, the barrage of hazardous zeta radiation. So you are rolling to create an advantage, and this is a pretty tricky one with a target of 8 to be completely successful. And so if you don't achieve that, you might have a partial success.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I assist?
Yes, and so assisting gives you a +1.
Okay.
And I'm trying to remember how the workshop works. It is an electronics workshop. And I don't know if it's just for building objects, or I can use it as an asset.
What that does is it lets you make gear cheaper.
Okay.
Yeah, because you essentially save 1 credit box worth of, because you're paying for materials but not labor, essentially.
Okay. So is this engineering?
Yes, engineering.
Okay. And with a
And I
+1.
help you with science.
Science.
Science bros.
Oh, I'm going to need some help on that one. Let's see.
So with that's a 3 to start, but that's so it's a -1 roll plus your engineering skill of 4, and then it would be 1 more from Patch's assistance, but that's still pretty well short of the total success. And so you can either try to, spend your fate points to invoke more aspects to try to get it up to the success, or you might have only a partial success.
Could I know it's my multi-species med kit, but the aspect is just the right tool.
Yeah, but we did define in there what that means.
We did define. Well, it says once per session you can reroll, add 2 to a science check, but this is an engineering check.
Yeah, I think.
How about I'm going to cannibalize part of the ship.
Okay.
I'm going to use my aptitude, my aspect. I've taken apart these ships and mostly put them back together again.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so at a +2, that would give me a 7 if I just took it as a +2.
Yeah.
No, it should be still just 6.
6. Yeah, because
Yeah.
we're 4.
Sorry, it was at
Yeah.
4. So yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That would be a 6.
Can we counter compel my shiny and have Patches raid Shem's room for parts that she has walked off with?
Well, that wouldn't be counter compel. I mean, that would be.
Yeah. You'd be invoking the advantage. You'd be spending.
But we can do that though. We can say that you
that I
went
go
and
into Shem's room.
Yeah, you went and searched her collection and found just the part you need, even though that means it was probably pulled off of something else already anyway.
Okay.
Right.
So
what that means?
I find.
Okay.
Hey, I've been looking for this everywhere.
Yeah.
It's got fur on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you spend 2 fate points to get it up to 8.
I spend 2?
No, so Lee is spending 1 for Shem.
And
for
I'll spend 1.
Invoke.
Gotcha.
And then Butt Up is spending 1 of his or theirs. And so that gets you to 8. And so what you find is that you have successfully built this device that can be powered by the radiation and use it to provide extra power to the shields. And so what that will do is it protects you from the radiation of the storm itself. But you know that that's how it works. And
I'm pretty sure I just reversed the polarity.
Yeah.
People say that all the time, but I don't know what it means.
Well, I'm not going to give you a science lesson right now, but I'll draw you some diagrams and maybe you'll understand.
Yeah.
Pictures.
All right,
Yeah.
so you guys believe that you have built a device that is going to allow the shields to filter out the radiation from the storm without overloading.
We need to
Next
name it.
project.
You're going to call it a reverse eyeball melter. No, that's not it.
Well, hang on. So next project that we're going to chalk down is let's build a diagram for storing energy, any excess energy that we have, because that may be cool.
Okay. Storing it. Like in a bucket.
This is another engineering role to try to improve the thing you just made?
Yeah. So our next scene is going to be that.
Okay. Well, your next scene actually is that you are alerted that by Captain Nemo says, it appears that the commandant of the space station and his science head would like to complain about the misdirection of the mission, and they would like to register their complaint to an individual in person, and so they have requested to speak to members of the crew rather than through my interface. So smooth that over, will you?
He's got a head just for science.
Right.
Can I get a head that's just for science?
We'll cut back to you guys for that in a minute, but let's jump back over to Rick and the this shady murderous Eddie.
Yes. Well, no, we were going to go to the cruise director.
Yeah, so you contacted, you discovered that this cruise director's name is Zulifer, and she answers the communications call and just says, yes, I am Zulifer. You are a representative from the Juggernaut, yes?
Yeah, my name is Rick Monroe. I am the quartermaster of the Juggernaut, and it is in fact my responsibility to make sure that your cruise group is fully protected on their trip to the Zeta Radiation Nebula. Now, in order to achieve that, I'm going to need a breakdown of the various races and or genders and or necessary physical attributes that will be related to their needs in terms of eyewear. Because, of course, as you probably know, this phenomenon requires particularly specialized ocular protective devices, and we are going to need some information. So we make sure that all of your people are properly protected.
Yes, of course. Well, I can absolutely send you the crew manifest or the person manifest of all of our members. I do hope that you are equipped for dealing with the elderly. Many of them have mobility issues and are, in need of constant attention. And you actually see from her that she gives you the impression of not having slept in maybe like a long time. And she says, you see, we have many individuals who they are veterans, you see, and they are very independent-minded, and they do not especially like the idea of being in a package store where they are just herded about like cattle, you see. They like to wander, and it is quite an ordeal sometimes to keep them all together and safe. So I do hope that your ship has the facilities necessary.
You send me over those details, and I'll get right on that. I've got a couple of ideas. I think you'll be happy with the result. You have it. You send those over, and then you do have a lie down to first opportunity you get.
From your lips to their ears, because they are. Oh wait, no! And she like runs off frame, and the call cuts off.
Does she actually send over the information I need?
Yes. You get the list, and it's basically you need 100 pairs. There's a variety of different species. So
okay.
You are able to provide that information, and basically you're just like reading a list to Murderous Eddie, who's not writing anything down, doesn't have a computer, but he's just listening to it and going, yeah, yeah.
So you can do all that. You got what we need for that.
You are in luck, my friend, because that just happens to be exactly what's in these boxes right here.
All right. You would not be averse to, for example, providing me with a manifest of some kind, an invoice.
Oh, who
Quote.
needs the headache of paperwork? Am I right?
Well, when it comes right down to it, I do, because as you are quite aware, the Juggernaut is owned by. Did we ever just give the name to the company that owns the Juggernaut?
I don't think we ever settled it. We said it was a consortium. That was all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's changed too many times for you to remember right off the top of your head.
It's kind of almost
You-
not
you-
even worth
as you're-
mentioning.
As you're probably aware, the Juggernaut Consortium is quite interested in making sure that everything is documented properly. So here's the thing, right? Those documents don't actually have to represent things 100% accurately, because and I know what goes on in the real world, what goes on inside the computers doesn't always match up 1-to-1. So I'm not saying I need anything like personally responsible, right? I just need it to be convincing.
And he, during all of that, he's just doing the yeah, and then when you finish, he just kind of turns and says, "What I got is these boxes of glasses. You want them or not?"
All right. Well, what's the price on that?
So here's where you're gonna make competing haggle rolls.
Okay. All right.
Um,
And I am going to actually I'm going to does my merchant prince stunt come into play? When attempting to find trade goods to sell, or when searching for a buyer, once you have the material, you gain +2 to discover. Well, that's a discover. Okay.
Yeah, you could
That
you
would've
could have
been-
maybe
that would've
done
been
that
before.
when you were doing your contacts roll.
All right. Well, all right. So haggle.
Yeah.
Oh man, I am rolling terrible today. All right.
Okay, so
That's
it looks
even.
like it's a tie, which on this is a roll. This is overcome an obstacle. So, so let's see. So succeed at minor cost. I think that what you get is he quotes you a price of 20 credits boxes for the whole lot.
20 credit boxes. That is a
And-
possibility. I am going to have
And don't
to
forget the
get back to
murderous Eddie Promise.
you. All right. I do remember that. It in fact sticks very strongly in my mind, as it's probably intended. I am going to go and see what other deals I can get, because I have a feeling that this is not, in fact, the only place I can get this, given that it looked like it fell off the truck. So,
Oh, hey, look, I sell goods as is for a reasonable price. I think you're going to find if you go somewhere else, they're going to charge you ridiculous upcharges and increases in price, all for stupid stuff like legality and certificates
All
of
right.
authenticity
Well-
and blah, blah, blah. So,
Yeah, you give
I
me-
can't
you give
promise
me-
I'm
give
going to
me-
hang on to these for you. So, look, if you walk away right now, I'm just saying, they might be gone when you get back.
tell you what, I'll give you 1 credit box just to hold on to these for 1 hour.
1 hour?
1 hour. That's all I need, because I just going to go right over here to other people I was going to talk to.
Make a report check.
All right. 4.
Yeah, I think he said, all right, that's a deal. He
So we're
holds
down to
out, like,
99.
a slimy hand. All right. Are you heading over to the?
I'm heading over to the legitimate vendor.
All right. So this is an actual, like, fancy looking shop front. This is like a jewelry store type of setup here. Has lots of fancy looking equipment and in glass displays. A lot of it is sort of bedazzled and glittery, and an alien gentleman in a fine. So he's wearing fancy clothes. What does this guy look like, everyone? This is an alien named. Where is my notes here? This is this is Thurbison Fleblup.
So he is a reptilian based being, bipedal, with long raptor claws.
Okay.
Wearing a really big hat with a feather with some kind of alien feather, like he chopped off the tail of a really big bird and just stuck it in this hat.
Very nice.
So that it's got this really, really big flouncy thing.
And of course, he's wearing some wonderful, oversized, fluorescent pink and orange and green 90s styles we might recognize as oversized clothing.
Yeah. And the feathers are purple.
And he's got actually 4 eyes.
All right. So 4-eyed reptile raptor thing, big fancy hat, comes on and sees you come in and says, yes, welcome to Thurbison Fliblups, emporium for all things to make life worth living.
Pleased to meet you, sir, or ma'am, as the case may be. My name is Rick Monroe, and I am here representing the Juggernaut, which will be coming by in a certain amount of time to pick up some people who's going out to observe the Zeta Nebula. And I have been told by a very reputable source that you are, in fact, capable of providing me with 100 pairs of Zeta radiation eyewear that are not only fashionable but also effective, and that I am about to make your day in taking those off your hands for a quite reasonable price. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend a fate point on 5-minute friends.
Okay.
And this guy is my friend.
All right.
He's and that adds an aspect to the scene with 2 free invokes.
Okay.
Aren't
you a charmer?
So,
I do like to do business with charming individuals like you. So what can I do for you today? What sort of business would you like to transact? How can I improve your life today?
Rick pulls out his tablets, pulls out a list of all the head geometries of the passengers that we're going to be having on board, and says, here's the particulars of the order that I'd like to make, and if possible, pick up today because we are in something of a rush. So, can you tell me whether you can fulfill this?
They look down over the list and just say, yes, this will in fact sell most of our stock of the Zeta glasses, but I believe that we can accommodate these requests.
Excellent. So given that this is removing, in fact, a certain amount of uncertainty as to regards to being able to sell, in fact, all your inventory, because as you know, the Zeta Nebula is usually observed by robotic craft, so the demand for this kind of thing is not tremendous.
Well, I do have that many because I did expect to sell that many, but that doesn't mean that I am not willing to sell them to you. And at that point, actually, all of a sudden, speaking of robotic probe, into this little storefront, this little hovering tin can zips in and starts to project a hologram of a sort of a thin and reedy looking alien wearing obviously like the alien equivalent of a suit and tie, and it just immediately says, "I want to buy every pair of Zeta glasses you have."
Now this is downright suspicious, if you ask me.
And
Are you? Who are the tarnation are you?
and the hologram, the tin can like turns in place as it's hovering, and the little projected alien kind of just like rotates with it because it's being projected by this little hovering device.
So it swings around.
Yeah, and so it actually swings around, and briefly the hologram is actually like right on top of you, and then it like pulls back, and it just says, "Why? That's none of your business, mister. I'm just looking to buy some Zeta glasses," and it like turns back to the shop owner and says, "I'll give you top price for every pair you have."
Now I was here first, you little son of a person.
And yes, but I'll pay more. And
is this the way you do business, sir?
And so this is the Thurbison, this raptor proprietor, is just befuddled at this turn of events. This is not how I typically do business. I generally sell by appointment only, and so to have both of you with such large orders in mind show up suddenly is quite perplexing. And this alien that from the little probe just says, "I don't care how you usually do business. I'm just looking to make a deal today, and I can guarantee I'm going to beat his price."
Okay, so I know that if I try to compete on price with this guy, I'm going to be in trouble, and that he's probably buying them so that he can sell them to me again and make even more money, because he knows that I want them. So I am not going to try and outbid this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to try to appeal to my new friend Zuborp.
Yeah.
That gentlemen do not engage in such crass
Business practices,
and that a true artist of who wants his product as an expression of the jeweler's art, rather than as a commodity that will then be traded again to someone else. I'm actually going to give these people to some fine elderly folks so they can have an experience of a lifetime while they're still on this material plane. So I'm trying to convince them to not even listening to this guy.
Okay. So what we're going to do
here...
Yeah,
okay.
So no, I like all of that. So what this other guy hears all of that and just says, "That's nonsense. Are you in business or are you in business? You know, if you're going to be the kind of operation that just makes sweetheart deals on sentimentality because if you're friends with people, I don't think that the marketplace is going to like hearing about that." And so what we're going to do is you're going to make a rapport roll, and you've got your free invoke of your
I'm going to definitely take that invoke
against this character's provoke roll.
Are they doing mental attacks?
So this is an interesting distinction that is worth bringing up here, is that there are in this game what is known as contests and then also conflicts. And so a contest is when you are competing with another character over something, but the two of you are not trying to directly harm one another.
Not yet, no.
And that would be a contest. So right now you're competing for this store owner's affection or, attention, but you're not actually like trying to hurt each other in a meaningful way. Whereas a conflict would be if you were if you were not trying to convince the store owner, but literally like shouting each other down, like directed towards each other, that would be a conflict. Yeah. And so we're not dealing with stress or consequences right now, just the competing roles. So was this rapport roll of 4 your new one just now? I didn't see.
No, that's an old roll. I'm
okay.
rolling it now. Oh, a 5.
And so you have your invoke too, right? Which makes it 7.
And I'm going to take my invoke because I might as well, because I'm not sure how long this scene's going to work.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. And would your aspect if you scratch my back work with this as well?
See, that's actually not what he's doing. He's
yeah. So this upstart here has gotten a 5, and so with your free invoke, that does beat the. So it's a success, and so I think listening to these 2 arguments, the store owner turns to the hologram and just says, "Sir, I have a reputation in this market that predates your arrival, and I don't especially respond well to threats. I deal with people interested in making lives better, not for pure profit. So I say, good day to you." And the hologram alien kind of glowers a little bit. And says, "You're going to regret this," and then turns back over to you, Rick, and saying, "And you're going to regret this too." And then the hologram disappears, and the little robot probe zips out of there.
I think Rick has to remember the name Thurvison Fleblop.
All right. So, how much are these glasses going to cost?
So now here's where you're going to make another haggle roll.
Okay. All right. And I will take my second. Ooh. Mm-hmm. I'm going to spend my last fate point to re-roll that.
All right.
It's only slightly better, and I'll take my last invoke to make a 3.
Okay. Yeah. So what you get is that the Thurvison is able to show you that the per unit cost that would normally include, and the discount you're getting for buying so many, and also that Thurvison likes you. You are getting quoted a price of 40 credit boxes, but assuring you that these are the most authentic. She can show you all the paperwork and that the specifications that show that these glasses are capable of meeting all of the safety requirements for any species that needs them.
I think this set of glasses will have a lot fewer troublesome aspects associated with them.
Could be.
So I'm going to make that deal and buy those glasses.
All right. Okay.
And do I have to take them myself, or can we deliver them to my ship?
Thurvison's, I can arrange to have them delivered to your ship or shuttle. Are you landed here in the city?
Yes, we are. The ship's named the Tiger Sharks, right down there at the starport.
All right. It has been a pleasure doing business with you.
Excellent. And you keep up your excellent work, sir. Or ma'am, as the case may be.
As the case may be. And then and so I think as you leave the storefront there from the alley, you do get you catch a glance of Murderous Eddie, who kind of smiles and waves and then does the and then smiles and waves again.
Well, I'm going to hurry back to the ship, hopefully just in time to load the stuff in, and it's like, Sham, we got some extra troubles we need to handle back on the juggernaut.
So I think it's like knock, knock, knock on the door, and it's like, huh?
What?
All right, so let's cut back over to Patches and Butt Up. That you have been directed to one of the fancy sort of client-like meeting rooms places. What does this room look like?
So it is an adjustable auditorium. So it can pull out extra fancy seats depending on how many clients they're meeting with. But currently it only has like 5 seats. There's a little mini bar. And there is a projector screen, a little podium, and a microphone on there. Just in case you are talking to a large group and doing a large presentation.
There's probably also fake plants in there that they change out
Oh,
regularly.
totally fake plants. There's like a blue blooming Virgusborg that has white flowers that smell good no matter what race you are.
I've occasionally mistaken some of the plastic plants for friends.
Yes.
All right.
Those are not organic.
Don't be substancist.
So
Those are not sentient.
directed into this room, you see 2 aliens of different races, or different species, but wearing similar uniforms. Both looking, relatively fancy and decorated. We have the Commandant Buffo, who is in charge of the space station being delivered and like the head of that whole organization and project that's on the ship. And then the other is kind of a little bit more intense looking, wears spectacles over their 3 eyes. And kind of looking, the commandant is looking sort of a little bit befuddled and irritated of like, this is, like an inconvenience, but the spectacled one looks angry,
Okay.
and so they have
Commandant, how you doing?
Yeah, I am doing somewhat well. I am told that there's been a change of plans in our station delivery plan.
Yes.
Is this your head for science?
And
No.
yeah, so
I
the
thought it was
spectacles. Yes, this is Kato Flotz. He is the head of my science department, and he has what? You tell them, Kato. And the spectacled one just says, "Yes, and I am informed that you are planning to take our ship directly in to the Celestis Nebula."
No, of course not. Your space station, though, maybe. Isn't it a great opportunity? You, as science person, must really love this. You're welcome.
No,
We'll give you a free
No.
opportunity to read all the data and everything.
no, we gave very precise specifications for what
I mean, we
conditions
can
our equipment
charge for it.
required. What?
We can charge for it if you insist, but we thought we would give it to you for free.
No,
I mean, we
no,
can make extra
no. This
arrangements.
is completely unacceptable.
Okay,
equipment-
fine. We'll up the price, and we'll maybe be able to get you some
But up,
glasses.
but up.
Yeah?
This is not customer service.
No, this is the commandant and his head of science.
I understand. I need you to stop talking.
Hi.
Uh,
We're all
the-
friends here.
The commandant just says, I must say, this all seems very irregular. I thought we had a deal.
We
And-
have multiple deals. We are making this slight detour with the least amount of time differential. As far as shielding, my extremely intelligent
Whew.
counterpart and myself,
I think she means me.
and I am slowly but surely starting to lean into my subtle menace,
Okay.
which is I exude menace and far in excess of my capability to act.
Okay.
Um,
So you're intending to try to convey to them that they should stop complaining and leave you alone, or else bad things might happen.
yeah, essentially.
Okay.
But the my counterpart and I are highly skilled in our field. Do you doubt our competence in making sure that all of our clientele would get through this detour,
So-
completely and utterly unscathed.
And both of them reply at the same time. And first, Commandant Buffo says, "Well, of course not. I'm not implying any such thing." And it means,
Are you-
Well, hang on.
I know.
Let me talk for a second.
Sorry, I'm in character.
I know, I get it. I'm just trying to say both of these characters are replying at the same time, and I only said one of them so far. All right. So what Keter Flotz says at the same time speaks at the same time as Commandant Buffo is saying, yes, based on what I've seen so far, I have zero confidence that you are able to keep our station protected from the insane radiation storm that is going to be subjecting our equipment to.
Shut up.
Which one is my counterpart?
You see, this is exactly the sort of thing that is leading me to not
Pull
have...
up the screen with the schematics that we've just finished working on.
Oh, okay. You see, this part's going to connect to that part. And the bucket is just meant as a representation of the shield generation and solidification of the energy. You know, that sort of thing. And this part over here, this will connect over here. And see, I saw the little bit of light that happened in your head of science head person thing when I mentioned the whole science thing, and now it's kind of gone. You look so sad. Commandant, your friend looks sad. We can make him happier. He just has to be able to science. That's what you do, right? As head of science, you science.
So I think you guys can definitely get the impression that even though the Commandant kind of, marches up to the screen, kind of does that, at rest sort of gesture, looking up at it seriously, and I think you guys can tell that this is all very much a show of like, I have been told to look at this thing, and so I'm going to stare at it for a little while and pretend it means something to me. And,
I'm going to lean into the science head and just be like, now if we can come up with that in an hour, do you really think that my skills as the ship's medic and science professional would prevent me from doing my job? 3'5", leaning in like.
Yeah, I think I'm going to compel also Cute and Fluffy here. For
Yep.
you. The science head just says.
Totally fair.
The science head looks this guy. He looks down at you, and then he looks over at Butt-Up, and then he looks to the Commandant and says, "Sir, we expressed our complaints, and they sent us to meet with these two. They don't know what they are doing, and we need to insist that they cancel this mission. This side trip, this insanity. It's completely unacceptable. The delay is one thing, but we cannot have our station exposed to that kind of hazardous radiation."
Well, we were going to let you experiment with us, but apparently you're more bureaucratic than anything else.
Thanks.
Done here,
I
but
have
I've
my own
heard them out.
experiments that I don't wish to have exposed to uncontrolled zeta radiation. Thanks.
Butt-Up at this point is standing beside the Commandant, and as the Commandant's kind of fluffed himself up to look at these and look important, Butt-Up has slowly been pushing a lot of his mass up top to kind of look like he's the same, but the bucket kind of perched on top and excitedly flailing. But wait, do you think you have a better plan? Also, it's not uncontrolled. We plan to totally control the Zeta radiation. It's actually kind of neat. Imagine if you could control Zeta radiation when all you could do with it. Just imagine. Imagine.
So the science head is going to take a look with his own science roll at your schematic.
Can I use my rapport skill?
That's a 7. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I think what he looks at all of that.
He's going to see I'm a genius.
Well, you helped with a +1.
You helped.
But Keter looks at the schematic and he's just kind of this is only gonna This is only going to work with the...
Come down to the
You
lab.
just
We
make
can work on
sure
this.
that radiation doesn't get to our station. And then he storms out of the room.
It won't hurt the
Still mad.
station at all.
And Bufo
Bye-bye.
kind of turns around and just sees that he's gone and just and then he sees you, but up in your sort of little shape, and he kind of briefly almost like quite yes. It would seem then that everything is in order after all. Yes. Well done.
Commandant, let us know if there's anything else we can do to make your stay more acceptable.
Yes. Quite.
And you'll get the bill of all of the viewing charges. But don't worry, I'm sure it'll be reasonable.
He's on his way out the door.
I like
Bye,
them.
boys.
I like them a lot.
You like everybody. Come on,
I
we've got to go
know.
work on. We've got to go work on the energy capturing device.
And our flyers.
Why are we doing flyers?
Well, we got to convince them all to go to the viewing party. I mean, anybody who's outside the viewing party area is probably going to die.
We're only getting enough glasses for.
Oh, yeah.
100
This part will be
visitors.
all internal. They'll get to view it on a view screen. Got to give the premium stuff to the actual paying customers, and everybody else gets kind of a cheaper view.
So, like, if we have them in here and then we project it on the screen, and
Yeah. After all, they're not the ones paying for the whole thing. We'll charge a reasonable price. They'll be happy.
that could work.
Of course
Run
we'll
it
work.
run it by the captain first.
Oh, sure.
You do it and tell him I had nothing to do with it.
Well, I like giving you credit.
Don't.
Okay.
It will make me very happy if you don't give me credit.
Okay.
All right, so I think let's go ahead and move along then to having. We'll move forward a little bit. The glasses have been obtained in the Tiger Shark. They're being brought back to the Juggernaut, even to rendezvous with the Juggernaut, even as it approaches the planet, to bring all of these tourists on board. And
Well, I was actually hoping
Mhm.
that I would be able to get to have a conversation with Shem before
well,
that
okay,
happened.
yeah, sure.
So Rick gets back to the ship and wakes up Shem. It's like, Shem, we got to get back to we got the sunglasses. We need to get back to the Juggernaut as fast as we can. We got to do some extra preparation because I just found out some stuff about the people that are coming here, and we ain't ready for this. So I got to talk to everybody else. We got to get back to the ship right away.
Huh?
I got some ideas, but we need to be back soon.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay.
Fly fast. You like that, right?
All right. All right. So you want to make another pilot check to try to fly fast?
Yeah. So let's see what this does.
All right.
2.
Yeah, I think
She
you
just
like.
broke
We're not gonna give any like sort of special aspect to that, but yeah, you managed to skedaddle out of the port there without any additional inconvenience. You pick up your cargo and you're able to get back to the Juggernaut in a reasonably quick amount of time.
All right. Bud need your help here. As soon as I get off the ship, I'm on the communicator to Bud.
Hey, Rick, you're back. Are you okay? Did everything go well? Did you talk to some
everything
nice
went-
people?
Everything went well enough. Might have made some enemies. Not sure yet. We're going to have to see about that. But
Oh, you'll learn eventually.
we need to prepare for our new passengers, and I have some ideas because from what I've heard, they like to wander, and so what I want to create is something like an obstacle course / maze to lead from the airlock while they're going to be docking to the observation area.
Ooh,
So-
that's fun.
So that they can do this wandering, but it's going to be in a controlled way so that we know where they're going to wind up. So we're going to need to seal off passages, going to need to seal off areas, but we're going to need to do it in such a way that people think that they're slipping off and going where they don't belong, but they're actually going to be herded by the systems actually to the viewing area, and so they kind of wind up there even though they thought they might not be.
That sounds great. Did you come up with that all by yourself? You're getting to be so good at this. Also, I need your opinion on flyers. And which of the viewing rooms is probably reasonably safe?
Well, I can't speak to that. That's going to be Teddy Bear's job there as far as what's safe and what's not. I don't know from radiation.
You are so lucky I'm not there to hear that.
Well, if he's still on comms, you might have heard that anyway.
This shipwide comms, sorry.
Rick.
So- Sorry, Patches. I know you don't like that. I try not to use it when you're listening. All right. So, anyways, you understand? You understand what I'm saying about making something that makes it look like they can sneak off to some place they don't belong, but they end up winding back there anyways.
We have a lot of corridors like that
Apollo
anyway.
Suite?
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, but here's the thing: we want, instead of the usual where people wander off and get lost for years and years, we want them to wander off and wind up where they're supposed to be in the first place. So, like, transit cars that'll actually just kind of drop them off along the way, and no matter where they're supposed to go, we're going to need some reprogramming of this, that, and the other thing. And this is way beyond my expertise, so that's why I'm asking quite possibly the most qualified individual on the ship to help me out with this.
Oh, he means me.
I mean you. That's who I'm talking to.
It's nice to hear you again. Okay, but it's going to be hard to be in two places at once, so I might need to have some help.
All right, you need me to talk to Shem?
Yep.
All right, I'll go see if I can get Shem to help out this project, all right?
I'm also going to need you to make the flyers, because apparently I'm not going to have enough time.
The flyers?
Yep.
I don't know nothing about gliders or air cars or any of that kind of stuff.
Oh, I'm sure you can learn that too, but this is just something to hand out.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay, flyers, like graphic design. I can give that a try. Let me go talk to Shem.
Okay.
So, what is it Shem needs to do?
Shem needs to program. Well, I think he's asking for my help with engineering to engineer the maze.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I'm...
All right.
Well, and here's the other thing, too. What you're asking for is not a trivial thing you can do in a day, really. So...
We're gonna do our best. Okay, so instead of like a whole maze thing, just like a trap that would be the most obvious place to kind of to sneak away, and it will like lead to a tram car that just slams shut, goes over to the observation area and opens up again.
Okay.
So instead of like a big, I mean, because Shem is going to tell me we don't have time to do that.
Right.
Gonna have to lower the expectations a little.
Yeah.
And we're, selectively locking some doors and leaving some doors open, and
Yeah. So yeah, make it look, lock stuff up so that they don't get anywhere, so they don't like diffuse into the ship like a gas.
And get eaten by the barbarian lizard people that are living below decks.
Yeah.
Not that.
So
Right.
what we're going to do then is that I'm going to set a roll difficulty of 6, which would be a result that leaves you reasonably certain that someone would have to be talented to escape this little containment area.
What I'm ultimately trying to do is create an advantage on the scene that's coming up with them getting scattered.
Okay.
So yeah, we're trying to create an advantage.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm out of 8 points, so I can't help.
One second, real quick. I need to get my charger.
Okie dokie.
We can do all the secret plotting now.
Yeah. Yeah. So my thought for the ship is just to take it in a circle, and so you go through, we're going here, and then we have to come up here, and then just fly by that way, so that we don't lose all that much time. But just to do, but it might be a little wonky on the G-forces.
Sorry, making do with my travel setup here is.
She's back. Everybody, shut up. All right.
Okay, let's see.
Someone named the Bacon Man of NH is in the chat now, and I'm like, where? Because
Okay.
I mean bacon,
Oh, not New Hampshire. Okay.
and he's in my state.
Okay, so what then we're going to do is, I think, to just create an advantage that you guys have, you have prepared some mechanisms designed to herd wandering elderly tourists back to their intended location.
Right.
Okay, so for that, there's an understanding that you have some of that in place, but which is not the same thing as saying it's all taken care of and there's no problem.
Right.
Right. Yeah. This is not. I'm not trying to make it to short circuit some future scene. I'm trying to give us an advantage on the future scene.
No, okay, that's great. Yeah, so like I said, I'm just trying to make sure we're all on the same page about how realistic what we're talking about is. Okay, so let's see. I'm just plugged in a new thing, and now I'm hearing like a sound. All right.
We don't hear a sound.
Yeah, hang on.
Sounds are not meant to be heard. They're
Yeah,
meant to be.
sorry.
No, wait, they actually are meant to be heard.
This,
Sorry.
my whole little mobile setup still leaves a few things to be desired. All right, so so we're getting ready for the roll. So then I think that this roll was. Oh, we got a Shem pilot. Oh, that was on your way back to the ship. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is an engineering roll to create some devices designed to shepherd wandering elderly sheep back to their flock. Mm-hmm. So I think for this, just to create an advantage here, I'm going to make that a 4 target.
Okay. All right. Do you want me to make this roll, or?
Well, whoever.
What is
it's
the
an
roll?
engineering roll.
I mean, I can do it, or you can do it.
Yeah.
I'm okay at it. After all,
Okay.
I'm the engineer.
How about if I help you out and give you that +1?
Anyone who
Okay.
has engineering at least +1 can assist and give a +1.
Okay.
I know Shem and Butup do. I don't remember if Patches or Rick have engineering at all.
No.
Okay.
Nope, I have
not at all.
systems, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do-do-do.
All right.
So 4.
Yep. So with a 4, I think that's what I said, right? Or
Yep.
Yep.
yeah.
Okay, so that is a success that you have created an advantage with 1 free invocation. That is, we thought of that.
Yes.
Okay, so I got myself so distracted with all my charger business that I have lost the reins just a little bit. Okay, so as we have, you've rendezvoused, you have arranged shielding that hopefully should protect the ship from the radiation storm in the nebula. You have procured the glasses. You have, for the moment at least, seemed to convince the science head for the space station that you have adequately prepared to protect the space station from this radiation.
Now we need to advertise.
All right.
Advertise what?
So everybody else who's on that space station and traveling with us, is going to die if they're just sitting out there. So I figured instead of dying, they should pay for the privilege of seeing this whole thing, but not up close, because that's our exclusive for the people that are coming on board. But instead, we got all kinds of other viewing rooms. We could just put up a window. I mean, not an actual window, just a screen.
All right, so just kind of let them know that this pay-per-view event is going to be available.
I love that word, pay-per-view. Let's do that one.
All right, so yeah, I'm gonna try and design something. It's not actually going to be a paper flyer because then I'd need like paper, but just kind of some kind of mass communication to our other passengers.
Okay.
That we're gonna have a channel available for them to watch this, and I'm also not going to set up like a viewing area because that would also be.
Well, we might want to do that because they'd be deeper in the ship and probably survive the radiation.
Well, we could make a ship-wide notification that getting to the center of the ship during.
Oh, okay. All right.
During this time would be wise for your health.
Just in case some of the shields fail.
And for some extra credits, you could possibly join us in this viewing room to actually see what's going on outside.
And the viewing room is just by chance going to be in the deepest, most well-protected part of the ship that we have.
Now you
that we haven't actually sealed off for other reasons.
You know, you're surprising me, Rick. Every day I see that you're growing and growing and growing. Someday you'll be grown up and you'll have to leave. And it'll be a sad day. But not today.
But stop trying to cry. It's not going to work.
I've seen it in all the vids. It's supposed to work.
You don't have tear ducts. It's not going to work.
I mean, it's just slime, but it's sort of the same.
It's mucus. Mucus does not have enough.
I think Nemo does actually intervene briefly before this last message of just saying, I thought you had arranged for the shields to protect. I think I rather would advise against declaring to all the passengers of the ship that they are at risk of severe radiation poisoning.
Well, if they're outside of the ship.
No. Sir, I think you're misunderstanding what they're going for. There is this subtle implication that just maybe perhaps things might be better off for them a little further into the ship, but never actually saying that there's an actual danger. See, there's this thing among organics, and now, and because I know you're quote unquote not organic, but nevertheless, there's this thing.
My database has all sorts of data about what it's like to be organic. I assure you that I understand perfectly.
Well, in that case, you'll understand that there's this idea of the subconscious, and there's levels of thinking that aren't going on right there at the top of your head, or whatever it is you do your thinking with, and you can actually influence people by appealing to instincts for things like survival and food and sex to get them to do stuff that they ordinarily wouldn't do from a rational point of view. So, but I don't need to explain this to you because you know all about organics.
I just know that we have already received a number of complaints for the delay in the original schedule, and that many of them would be further frustrated to learn that there is risk of danger as well. I have assured them that there was none already.
All right, I understand taking orders, sir. We can leave that opportunity for profit for some other time.
Oh no, we're still going to profit. It just will be a benefit, an opportunity, something. I mean, but I'm just trying to follow your rules, sir, Captain Nemo. I mean, you said no damage, and we got that. Safe and entertaining. We're making it more entertaining and returning safe. That part's pretty much guaranteed. And then you said, the last thing you said, profitable journey. And I thought, what would my hero do at this point? And I said, well, I'd probably do this. And I am, just like you always taught.
You want to make a rapport roll for
Sure.
to try to persuade Captain Nemo?
Sure.
I'm going to be away from the desk for just a minute.
Okay.
Run away now, scared, ready, oh. I'll make a rapport roll. I got a 7.
That's pretty good.
You know what I want to do? I want to push that up higher, so I'll get a little bit more. So I'm actually going to spend a fate point to use my Nemo is always my friend aspect.
All right. So that's a success with style for sure. So I think Nemo, listens to your plea and just says, "But I have always appreciated your commitment to not only efficiency but furthering the interests of the ship, and in that interest I want to encourage that sort of line of thinking, and therefore not only will I allow and support your endeavor, but I myself will be willing to make an announcement to all of the passengers to let them know that in an official capacity we are sponsoring this activity."
And I imagine that Butt Up has walked over to the screen and kind of touched the screen with the tentacle, then looks over at the slime trail, tries to wipe the slime trail off, it spreads across the bottom part of it, and he's just sort of like hiding the arm behind. Thank you so much.
Use a rag to clean it up, Butt Up.
Shh, it's working.
All right, so figure out what is the actual announcement that you want to have Nemo give all of the other passengers on the ship.
At said date and time, Juggernaut.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. It just occurred to
Okay.
me that this was Nobilis's sort of first suggestion, so maybe we'll wait for the specific wording until Nobilis is able to come back. So, no, I appreciate it. We can have it collaborative. I just don't want Nobilis to actually be left out of the thing he initiated.
In the meantime, how about we do a roll to see how I am with off-the-cuff piloting of the ship to get us there in one piece?
We'll have you do a pilot check with the Juggernaut's maneuverability, which means a -2 to the roll because it's so big. But this is not actually maneuvering it right now. It's running in a simulation.
Okay. So cross your fingers that we don't die in a simulation. 2.
Okay. So with a -2, you...
Is it a -4 or is it a 0?
It's a so would have been -4 except for the big engines that you have that the Juggernaut has, which makes the maneuverability -2. So your roll
is a 2.
So with -2, it makes it 0. That's what I said.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I. Yeah. All right. So yes, it's a 0, which means not so great. You find that in this simulated run, you impact with several asteroids. You veer into some nebula currents that spin you around a little bit and more damage. And so it's not catastrophic, but the ship sustains some damage in this simulated voyage here.
Okay, I got to work on that.
Yep. All right. So in the meantime, hopefully we'll have Nobilis back soon.
In the meantime, can I be still working on the energy capturing device?
Yes.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, welcome back. Nobilis, Butt Up succeeded with style on persuading Captain Nemo that your plan here is actually a good one.
All right.
So Nemo has not only agreed to let you do it, but he will make the announcement to all the passengers himself to give it additional authority.
All right.
But you need to tell him what he should say.
Captain Nemo.
Yeah, I was going to have you guys as a group decide what you want Captain Nemo to announce to all the passengers, but we didn't want to do that part without you.
Okay. See, I'm thinking that we actually the idea of getting people to come to our viewing room for it is probably actually not a good idea because we don't want two groups of people moving around on the ship at the same time.
Well,
they're just
some
going to
people are
rooms, though.
supposed to be there, though.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
they're not going to the same viewing rooms. The idea is that the rest of the people go just to the normal auditoriums and theaters and stuff,
yeah,
which are
yeah.
which are all deeper into the ship.
Oh, okay.
And so they would see things on like a movie screen, kind of like the
Okay.
live events.
And pay for the
everything.
privilege.
Yep.
All right. Glurb Day, Glurb Day, Glurb Day. The greatest spectacle known in the
Known-verse.
Zeta Quadrant. The Coruscant Nebula is known far and wide for.
It was Christelis, but yeah. Sorry.
Right. Well, you know, I'm going without notes here.
No, I hear you. I
mean, I just sat down.
No, I appreciate it. I didn't mean
The
to.
Crystallis Nebula is the greatest spectacle known to known in the quadrant, and you will have a front row seat at your local auditorium for the small price of something that, I mean.
Well, it's a graduated price. Front seats cost more.
Right, but anyways, enough to defray some of the cost of those damn sunglasses.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like the idea too that Captain Nemo with the authority voice is saying, in the ongoing and spectacular interests of both security and entertainment, we provide you with this limited opportunity that you will never ever have the opportunity to see again.
Yes.
Yeah. The you might want to price it like at a quarter credit box, so that every 4 people equals 1 credit box.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we'll be a little more abstract about it. But,
Yeah. But
There
like
will be a
generally,
group rate too, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
And this is people paying to watch it on a view screen from a safe
That's
area
right.
of the ship. So,
right.
a couple of notes for that. I love all this, by the way. But one is that you will still need to make a systems check to have the screen be able to show something that would actually be interesting to look at, but also
I
not
can
melt
do
anybody's
that.
eyeballs. So that's, I'm just saying,
Yes.
you'll have to do that.
Well,
And
I just needed something to do anyways.
sure. And so you'll also be realizing you're now dealing with another group of people who have paid money for something and are going to expect to be satisfied.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. This is like, you know what? If it's not a fate game, at least at least one person doesn't make a bad decision.
Oh, sure.
It has to be more complicated. That's the point.
Okay.
I would on this whole idea of this big complication, I would like to take a compel on you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Okay.
In order to gain a fate point on this, because it is a complication I have added to all this.
Mm-hmm.
In spite of the fact that it's a possibility for profit, we're not personally probably going to. This is like all in the ship's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't make any personal profit off of it, then all it does is complicate our lives. So, may I have a fate point, please?
All profit is the ship, and all profit is personal.
I'm not sure I completely followed, but
Okay. I'm adding this complication to the ongoing plot of things.
okay.
And
That you're making things more complicated by giving all of these extra things. That's in theory to
Right.
make the ship more profit, but doesn't necessarily help you. Mostly just makes your life more difficult.
Right. So I'd like.
Okay.
I think that's a reasonable compel.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So now I've got fate points. That's something I felt we needed to do before we got to the climax of this mess.
Yeah. Well, and I think probably today is not going to be the climax anyway. I've got stuff.
Oh yeah.
Stuff
But-
still on the way.
You mean it's not an episodic thing?
What?
Yes, it is
Does
every
it wrap
time.
up neatly at
And
the
we
end
know-
of the...
We know that the episode is over when the ship explodes.
No, this is in the
Every
future.
time.
It's like all sitcoms are serialized now.
Yeah, it's a pilot. It has to be 2 episodes long.
Oh, that's true. That is true. That is true.
To be continued.
Yeah.
Question mark.
We're so you guys are going to need to then make a systems check. I'm thinking this is a
that's
targeting
me.
4 to be able to have the displays show anything sort of meaningful and interesting without being dangerous.
Okie dokie.
I can help with that.
I rolled a 2.
Mm-hmm. And so what that means is you can either have you can try to invoke and add an aspect to spend a fate point to try to make it a 4, or we can accept that you have. So a fail would mean in this context either you don't think you can make the view screens work, or that you have succeeded with a serious cost that could complicate something else.
I have a
that
lot
works.
of fate points, so I will spend one.
Okay.
What aspect are you going to invoke?
Yeah, you have to be able to invoke.
And it can be an aspect on the ship too.
Yeah.
Test subjects are expendable. It'll work fine. Just slight amount of eye strain.
yeah. Yeah.
Or could we assist the people who have systems plus 1 or plus 2?
Yeah.
Assist.
Yeah, I mean, if you're all working on that, it does mean that you're all doing that, and not
I
something.
thought we all saw other stuff we're doing.
Yeah, I was just trying to think of another way around.
I mean, I kind of said I was going to help, but
Yeah.
Well, so one person helping gives a +1, which would still not be enough.
Right.
And
So
even getting to a 4 is still a tie,
okay.
which
If
would mean
if I spend a fate point to re-roll,
Well, you rolled a 0, so your reroll is likely to come up the same
well, on average, yeah. So
on average.
you can't just spend a fate point to reroll. You still have to invoke an aspect, and invoking an
Okay.
aspect lets you add to or reroll, but you still
Okay.
have to invoke.
you
an
could
I think-
invoke the Juggernaut's too big to fail.
Yeah.
It always works somehow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay,
so,
well,
in
let's
fact,
do
for that, you can spend the you have a crew pool of fate points to invoke the ship things with, and there is 1 fate point currently in that pool.
Oh,
Well, then, yeah, spend that.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
not often you can.
So I spend the crew pool of fate points
Okay.
to add 1.
adds 2.
It adds 2.
That's good. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So that puts me at 5.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
put
Well, with Butt Up is helping.
Butt Up-
with his
But
plus
up
1.
is helping.
I'm helping.
Oh, I thought Butt Up had other things he was going to do.
No, I pretty much finished most of the things I needed to do.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's why I handed off the task of flyers to you.
Well,
Okay.
okay, so yeah, I think that we'll allow that all of this is happening reasonably quickly. I'm scrolling around 2 different menu notes. Okay, so what you have done then is this is all being done quickly. So this is not necessarily going to feel like a premium experience to the people who are showing up for it.
Right.
but-
right.
It should show this stellar event in a way that looks interesting, and you're pretty sure should not cause any actual biological damage to the people watching the screen.
Okay.
I mean, test subjects are expendable.
Yeah. And in fact, I think in order to fully live up, though, to the compel for the You Scratch My Back thing, is that this turns out to be something that a lot of people want to see. And you guys find that it's you get several hundred people who want to do this. And so you realize these viewing areas that you've set up are going to be very crowded and will probably need some management during the event in order to prevent conflict and just keeping things orderly and that sort of thing.
I have only 2 words in response to this terrible, wonderful circumstance. Chubbing.
Very nice.
Yeah. So, question.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were using like the theater areas in each section, so that should generally be able to handle the crowd, and the sections have their own personnel. So, would we necessarily need to be there to?
Well, it's
Your
yes,
goal to set
and
up these view screens does not include an infinite number of view screens.
Okay.
And some of them are running repeats, and they just cannot let them go. Into the Spider-Verse running for
Okay,
4
so
billion
how about
times.
this? This is maybe a better complication. You think that the different sections can probably manage enough people to go into those various areas that you've set up. But what you find is space in those areas sells out so quickly that there is a lot of demand and interest in seeing these things, with a lot more people who want to see it than there's space in the safe viewing areas. And so you think that there might be a lot of people who might try finding some other way to see it.
Oh no.
Piracy is the sheerest form of flattery.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening.
yeah.
But
All right.
This can't possibly go wrong.
She cursed us. Patches cursed us.
everything is going fine.
So, as you guys have now in the Juggernaut reached this planet and have these elderly tourists have got their own shuttle coming up from the planet to rendezvous with the Juggernaut, and you bring them into their area. You find that what Zulifer appears to be the only person who is kind of like monitoring them, and she is constantly frantic about needing to just okay, so we can
no, I'm just testing it out.
Okay, yeah. So I think just as a general rule, let's make sure that we're not just rolling things without the roll being called for. So Shem has run another simulation roll with a result of 7, which is better. But I think what you find is sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's really hard.
Okay.
So you did better, but that's not. It's still going to be challenging in the moment.
Okay.
But as you bring them into this area, Zulifer is. You get the impression from her that this is her whole life. She cares deeply about these tourists, and making sure that they're safe and protected and respected and everything. But every minute of every day for her is putting out some sort of a fire, sometimes literally, for these cantankerous old coots that she has in charge of.
Well, Rick is definitely the person to help her manage this.
Okay.
He is he's going to try to, and this is given the ship we're on, this is not actually much of a stretch. He's going to try to make it. He's going to be upfront about the fact that this whole thing is a patch job, and they actually have you know how it is when the higher ups set you up with a job that you weren't quite ready for, but here we go. We're going to have ourselves an adventure, and so he's going to try to engage the old folks' wanderlust to make their way to the viewing area as a kind of adventurous event, to try to keep as many of them along with the tour as possible.
Okay.
He's pretty sure that losing one or two is going to be it's a near certainty, but that's his tactic for getting everybody where they need to go.
Okay.
I believe the term you're looking for is acceptable shrinkage.
So I think that go ahead and make the pitch. Pretend that you are now watching all of these tourists hobbling out of the shuttle bay, and you need to now corral them.
Now, did I hear right, ma'am, that these folks are veterans?
Oh, yes, they are all veterans of the Crystallis Wars, and they are very brave in their service. But it also means that they are very independent-minded, and they think they can do everything still. But they get lost and confused sometimes, and they don't want to hear that that's what has happened. And so it's generally best to try to. I don't want to say patronize because that sounds condescending, but you to respect their independence at the same time as you need to get them to do what you need them to do.
I understand the challenge, and if you will support me in this, I think I can handle it. You look so tired that your accent's changed.
It's not that different. It's very similar.
So, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, and all. You know what? I'm just going to use the term "y'all" because it's the best one for this kind of situation. Y'all might not be aware of this, but this whole thing has been organized by people up above your pay grade and mine for your education and entertainment. And but you got to understand that it's going to be something of a challenge to make it to the viewing area we got set up for you, because this wasn't part of our original deal. So what I'm going to need from all of you is to be looking out for each other, for keeping track of your neighbors, just like it was a combat situation. Because quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, this is one hell, pardon my language, one heck of a big ship. So there's plenty of reasons for us to want to stay together, and so as one poor slob to another, let's do our best to get where we belong, and we can all survive this. So,
all right,
that's my pitch.
Make a rapport roll.
4. Which is another average roll.
Yeah. So I think that for the most part, you hold their attention, and they seem to at least listen to what you have to say. And under Zulifer's guidance, you are at least able to show them all to their quarters. But it's going to be a 2-day cruise through the nebula to the place where you're actually going to observe the event. So how well that sticks, we'll see.
Okay. So.
All right. So, Shem, are you continuing to just run, one simulation after another, or are you?
Yeah, I'm continuing to run the one simulation after another with varying parameters, just trying to find the best route with the least chance of actually damaging the ship or
Okay.
causing the space station to pop out
Right.
from where it's been.
Yeah.
Where it's been stowed.
So, I think that so this would be a roll to create an advantage, but and so I think though that you are. This is a higher degree of difficulty because you didn't start this as soon as
I
you
could have. Yeah.
So I'm gonna say I'm looking for a 6 here to give you an advantage that you can invoke for a planned route.
Okay. I've got a couple of aspects I could use for this. For instance, I meant to do that. Which is my relationship with the captain. I've also got can pilot anything. So let's see what this roll does, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
2 again.
Okay. Yeah. So I think a 2 is it's a failure. So what we can do here is a failure can either be you manage to create this aspect of a planned route, but someone else gets to invoke it against you. Or you can, or you just fail to create the invocation. But I think that that's less interesting. So I think you have a planned route, whether it's going to help you as much as you were hoping for or not, unless you wanted to try to spend more fate points to bump it up.
No, let's just play it as it lies.
All right. So this is you have a planned route, but it's it's out there on the table to be potentially used against you rather than in your benefit. Okay.
Yeah.
So as you guys are going to start heading for the nebula, it's going to be a two-day cruise there. What are each of you kind of working on in the meantime?
I'm definitely making sure my attention's focused on the people, on the visitors,
Okay.
on the tour.
I am going to be working on the shielding, but because I feel like torturing myself, part of that would take me into the areas where the old people are, and possibly
Interacting with them.
Also invoke also Cute and Fluffy and make me interact with them.
So for a compel to get you a fate point, it has to do something that is.
Oh, I don't need a fate point.
Okay.
I was just being torturous to myself.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So to just to make the general point, regardless, though, generally speaking, a compel that earns you a fate point has to provide some meaningful complication to the situation.
No, it's just an annoyance that
sure.
I'm giving myself because I can.
Okay. How about this? Well, let's see. I'm just trying to think what else we got here. Okay. Gosh, this is hard. It's a new game for me too. So like.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, we could still be working on an energy collector thing, and somebody gets lost and finds us.
Well, how about this? I'm actually going to suggest a compel on test subjects are expendable, that it encourages you find yourself tempted to some of these. Well, let's see. I'll let you. I want to compel test subjects are expendable that you feel like what would like this radiation shield protecting device like what would a little radiation do?
Okay. So, if somebody comes meandering, I can be like, just the people I was looking
No,
for.
what I was thinking was that perhaps you get a fate point, but what you have decided to do is tweak this shield boost to let a little through.
Oh no. Oh no. That's terrible. I've got to do it.
So you get a fate point because you
Yeah.
are just too tempted.
Yeah. So it will be like a fraction of a percent.
Mm-hmm. Just a teeny bit.
Just a teeny bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to set up some monitors to like
Mm-hmm.
so that I can view, not view out, but view in and see their reactions or record their reactions.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, and let's.
I might
see.
keep a little hard to happy.
Okay, and so I think what we also get as you guys are starting to, enter the nebula and move through, you start hearing rumors that some of the members of the business consortium or the business convention that's down in one of the convention halls, you're starting to hear rumors getting spread that you guys don't know what you're doing and that this whole ship is being catastrophically mismanaged.
We can't possibly let them know the truth.
That we are impossibly mismanaged by an AI that has multiple nodes.
No, not that truth. That's not really real. We can't let them know that Rick is so young.
Yeah.
He is a baby in comparison to a lot of races.
Grown-up people?
Well, I mean, he's grown up for his race, but his race is what? Like, they live to 80 units or 80 rotations of their planet? Maybe?
He's gonna grow old someday soon.
So I think Captain Nemo says that one or more of you should go down there and try to find out who it is that's stirring up this trouble.
Go
Got
into
it.
the convention center? Wow. Don't normally get to go into the convention center. I'll do it.
But up. Oh, fine. I will go with you to make sure that you don't. Why do you do this?
All right.
I think it would be fun.
All right. So Patches and Butt Up are going to go down to investigate this. Rick and is trying to keep trying to wrangle old folk wrangler. Is that what Rick's doing?
It's like cows.
Yes, definitely. Rick is old folk person wrangling.
Okay, I think without making you make a roll, I think what you find right now, first of all, as you attempted to do it, is you are managing so far, but I think you are gaining a newfound respect for Zulifer, who must do this all the time by herself. Because
Yes.
it is just constant that, in the 30 seconds it takes you to turn around one group of wanderers, another group has left through the other door.
Well, it's as I said before, I'm going to try to actually enlist members of the group to help to
Okay.
keep people together. Because that's the only way this is going to work.
Oh, sure.
So, yeah, and definitely going to go on the kind of play on the camaraderie. I don't necessarily.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure that this group of people has an aspect of veterans.
Yes, they do.
And if there was a role involved, but I'm just saying that's his general like tactic.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm going to create offer to compel the crew. This would give a fate point back to the crew pool.
Okay.
To work on an aspect this veterans. They weren't all on the same side.
Oh dear.
Oh, wow.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's about half and half actually.
This
So what you find as you start to try to press on this camaraderie element is that the more you buff up one, the more you're turning away the other half.
oh man. Who organized this nightmare?
Nightmare.
Whatever you do, don't mention the war.
And we have had our obligatory Monty Python
So I
quote,
think
even though it wasn't Monty Python.
I think Patches used the one crew point earlier, but so now you have another one in the
Have
crew
it back.
pool.
Oh.
So this is as Patches and Butt Up go down to the convention center area. This is where all of the business guys are. How are you attempting to try to hunt down the source of this rumor?
You know, Patches, we work so well together. We need like a team name so that when they need to call on us, they can just say something like, I don't know, soft and squishy. Does that work for you? I think it works for me.
How about Pup? Patches and Butt Up put together.
That's not bad. It's kind of like peanut butter and human feces. Wait,
I
that's
think
not
they
the one.
call it jelly.
Oh, I take that personally. That's
Well,
okay.
that is their thing. I don't think they eat their own excrement. That's only the nerf herders that do that.
Is this my excrement? Gloop, gloop, gloop.
You don't eat that though. You eat nutrients. I
Yeah,
think.
but I don't keep this. It's sort of spread everywhere. Look, you can see where I've been.
I know it's disgusting.
If you're ever looking for me, just look and you'll see where I've been.
Yes, and please don't come into my lab again.
But you like me coming into your lab. You
Right.
do all the poking and the prodding and the melting and the burning and the cutting and the swishing.
Right, but I need you to stay precisely on the equipment that I tell you to be on. Otherwise, you get in my other equipment and then it mucks everything up.
I want to see
And-
how everything works. It's all so neat and shiny.
Yes, but I need it to work properly.
I can
and
make
it
it work
can't
better.
work properly if your excrement is in it.
I can make it work better.
No, you can't.
I
And
could
if
probably
you
make
touch
it work
I
better.
will disintegrate you.
Well, I've never been disintegrated before.
I
Is
will
that gonna hurt?
put it probably. I will put sodium all over your bucket, and then you won't be able to sleep. Do you understand me?
That's just mean.
I never said I was nice.
Ding, 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 ding.
So,
Hey, is that the dude? No.
So, how are you guys? I don't want to cut off like
No, it's fine.
inter-crew shenanigans
Yeah.
necessarily.
I know but it's great. So we are. I don't know.
So
I don't know.
what-
This
what's
was
this
your
big-
idea.
So I know one of the convention centers that was described in our session 0 was a big open space with lots of like fancy trees, and this is the one that like seems very luxurious and fancy in this area. And you see lots of people walking around in their various alien species versions of business ties and suits and stuff.
Okay.
And they
Let's
all
go walk
have
up to
name
the nearest
tags.
person. Nearest person. Hey, are you excited about the viewing later on? It's going to be in this big shiny theater over here, and that other shiny theater over there, and another shiny theater. It's going to be a lot of places. Have you got your ticket yet?
He actually, this guy seems very excited. He's like, yeah, that seems great. This is such a wonderful mobile convention center. I'm thrilled.
Have you ever heard of perks like this? Like it just came out of the blue or out of the black or something like that.
Yes.
I would like to. I would like to make sure that I have my skeptic's ear out for any liars.
Okay.
So that I can tell if somebody's being.
So you get a bonus
Plus
to
2
empathy to
empathy.
see if someone's lying.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Say, new
I'm
friend.
assuming. Okay. You can instead of having you make a roll here, what I'll say is this guy seems sincere because he's just literally the first guy you walked up to. You didn't do any investigation to try to see who it is that's.
Getting there.
Yeah, so I'll say you determined this guy is just a random guy.
Say, new friend. I know you're excited about this. I know I'm excited about this. But I heard somebody wasn't excited about this. And I wanted to talk to them. Because I can't believe they're not excited about this. I think they're just a little bit grumpy.
Oh. Well, you can make a rapport roll to discover, to try to figure out who it is that might be trash talking you guys.
Let's see if I can do that. There's the roll. Ooh, that's terrible.
Hmm.
I'm going to invoke Unfailingly Cheery
Yeah?
to roll that again.
All right.
Let's see. Doop-de-doo. And doop-de-doo, because it can't be that bad. There we go.
All right, yeah. So that's pretty good. Yeah, I think that that is a success. And he just kind of says, well, obviously some people you just can't please everybody, right? Like there are some people who just want to find fault in anything, like there's any kind of a perfect business. And I think it was Clip Rudin that was out there trying to say that you guys are bad somehow for offering these sorts of surprise opportunities.
That's terrible. I'll go speak to Cliff and clear it all up. Thank you so much, friend. What's your name? So I can recommend your name later for the draw that we might do.
What is his name, everybody? Random guy in the business convention.
Random guy in the business convention. Tiefling Espresso.
Tiefling Espresso?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Tiefling Espresso's the name. Business is the game.
That sounds like a fun
I'm just
game.
looking at things on my desk, and I'm like,
No, I love it.
Tiefling. And I have an espresso cup that I was given for.
Your name is now Half Empty Cup.
Yeah. Yeah. So he directs you over to one of the sort of hotel bar type areas. And as you guys make your way over there, you do overhear conversation, and there's sort of a slender alien who is talking, holding a drink in one sort of a claw and talking to the others and just saying, all I'm saying is this opportunity, so-called, is just another upcharge that was not part of the original business arrangement. We're going to be delayed. These people don't know what they're doing. This is a dangerous situation they're taking us into. Totally unplanned. None of us had any choice in the matter. I just think that this ship's poorly managed. And he seems to be persuading some of the other folks there.
Can I do an empathy roll to see where it's coming from?
Okay, yeah.
That's nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to get in the habit of setting it, I guess. Well, I guess I don't need to tell you what the number is necessarily. I could just tell you what the result is once the die rolls. So I think in this case, with a 5, I'm calling that a success. That you see that he does seem to have some sort of an ulterior motive, which is not the same necessarily as lying. He seems like he's trying to persuade people, not just complain.
Here's a weird one. I'm going to slap Patches on the shoulder with a little shove. Go get it. And I'm going to self-compel the aspect that Patches needs to learn new things.
Okay. And
Dealing with people.
nice. I like that. Yeah. Okay. So we're
That
gonna
is
make
that
Patches.
is the gesture that Patches does to him, but she's only got four pads on her paw, so she's like second one, whatever.
All right. So Patches is going to talk to people. Is the compel here, and then
And the downside is I'm not going to help her.
okay. Yeah. And so So I think that's fair. So that's a fate point. So Patches, you are tapped to do as you will.
All right. So I'm gonna walk up to the dude that's talking smack and
And
be
I think he's gonna he looks down at you in your little crew uniform and says, "Oh, look, here they are. They're going to try to police our thoughts now."
well, if you've got complaints, you might as well bring them up to management instead of complaining and not doing anything about it.
Management? How about all the complaints that I already lodged to your captain instead of to whatever the hell you are?
I'm the one who will patch you up if you get hurt. They call me Patches. Nice to meet you.
All right. That sounds like a provoke.
Oh yeah.
You know what? In
It's
fact,
totally-
let's go ahead and make this a straight up conflict.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh.
So
Haven't had one
I'm going to
yet.
say that insult that he did was an insulting attack to you, intending to cause stress.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's going to roll provoke, and you roll resolve.
Okay. Ready, set, go.
You need. So is that
So that's my resolve.
it shows up as empathy?
Nope,
No,
resolve.
Oh
Underneath.
no, I did empathy.
Oh no,
to
I see.
get his-
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I my chat didn't scroll down for some reason. Okay. Okay, and then here's
I've run out of drink.
okay. So
No.
he beat your resolve by 1. So you can try to invoke something to raise your result, or else you need to take 1 point of stress.
I am going to. So he's just trying to stress me out and get me to act, right?
Well, yeah, he's trying to. He is clearly some of what he's doing is performative. He's trying to make you look bad.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
he is
my
he is
attitude of-
insulted your perceived authority to think that you're a nobody.
Oh. Well, I'm gonna use. Oh no, wait.
So you can put
That's
1
empathy.
stress in your angry track, for example.
Yeah, sure. We'll do that.
But you could also invoke an aspect, and then you'd come
I
out
was
on head.
I was looking at my aspect and possibly my subtle menace, but
I mean, mean, sarcastic, never. That's an attack aspect. I've never heard one.
well, that's towards the captain.
Well, okay, you're defending here.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to take some stress.
Yeah.
My suggestion is just go ahead and take it and go on to the next round.
That's
True.
kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have 1 point in angry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what is your name?
Name's Clip Rudin. If you haven't
Clip
heard of me
Rudin?
yet, you will. So I'm going
Oh, and
places.
why would I have heard of you?
So are you trying to attack here, or this is just... So let me know when you say
I'm not
something that you want.
attacking.
Okay.
I'm not attacking yet. I'm looking for that hole.
Okay. So
Looking
you
for
can
that
you can
Shakespeare.
roll to try to discover something about him if you want.
Okay. What would I roll?
And
for
that would be let's say an empathy roll to discover.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Nope.
Oh, can I use Skeptic's Ear to add a +2 to that? Oh no, that's just if he's lying.
Yeah. Well, and so he is also gets to roll his resolve to defend. Okay. And so that means that if you have failed,
Yep.
which means that. Hang on, I'm looking at because this is interesting sorts of combat mechanics here. So a roll to
We're
discover
fighting with our words.
is a fail. You either get to find out something about him, but suffer a major cost, or or he gets to learn something about you.
He gets to learn that I am the only physician aboard that knows about 5 different.
Well, you don't get to pick what he learns.
Okay, so he gets to learn something about me.
Yeah, so I think the question he wants to know is if you feel like you actually do have the authority to speak for management.
Yes, because I was sent by management for that purpose.
Well, I mean, I guess it's a subjective thing. So you feel like you do have the authority to speak for management. Okay, so he learns that is your perception of that. Okay. All right. And so he, you asked him, why would I know you? And he just says, well, if you're in the business world, you're going to know about Clip Rudin.
I am thoroughly unimpressed.
Yeah? Well, I'm thoroughly unimpressed with this ship and its ability to make its promises and then deliver on them. I note we're not going to arrive at our destination at the time we were because you've added a side deal with someone else, denying the contract that you originally made with us.
There is a clause in the contract that states that minor delays will be made.
If you want to declare that, that's going to cost a fate point.
I want to declare that.
Okay.
I will spend the fate point.
Okay. All right. So
I haven't spent very many, so
sure.
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
So I am declaring that there is a clause in every contract that says minor delays may be imposed at the captain's discretion.
Okay. Well, fine. I suppose maybe you have some contractual weasel words to use, but the spirit of the law is that this is not a minor delay due to an accident. You made another deal.
It's at the captain's discretion. It's not an accident.
Yeah,
and
the captain's discretion. You don't have the captain's authority. And he is attacking you again to basically say, like, you don't have the captain's authority. You're just a lackey. And he's attacking with provoke again.
Fine. I will use my resolve.
All right.
Well, that's better, I think. Maybe.
Well.
Yeah!
All right. So what that means is that his attack fails, but you did not succeed with style. So it's basically he just doesn't cause you any stress that time. But now it's kind of your turn in the conflict.
Yeah. Yeah. My dear boy, I'm assuming you're male.
You're the doctor, probably better able to tell than most of us.
Yeah. If you want to succeed in the business world, you need to learn which friends are the right ones to make. And right now you're failing.
Okay. So is this a provoke to try to cause him stress, or?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you can roll your provoke. He gets to roll his resolve.
All right. So I got a 3. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So you give him 1 point of stress. All right. And he's just looking around at some of the others, like you've made a point, like he's not sure he has them anymore, but he's just going to say, "Oh, I see. Threats, huh? Is that what this is? So you take reasonable complaints from your business partners and you make it sound like we don't have the right to complain? Like what kind of business do you run if you don't treat your customers well?"
We treat you very well. In fact, we have every protection in mind so that you can see this once-in-a-lifetime event, which happens to only delay you slightly, for an experience that you would not otherwise get.
Ah, here you come with the upcharge again. And so I think you guys are at this point going to make competing rapport rolls. No, wait. Hang on.
Resolve?
No, this is a different. I had a different thing in mind, but I'm changing my mind because this is new mechanics for all of us. So I think he's just going to get in your face and just say, "When I run a business, I make promises and I keep them. You're just trying to upcharge us when you don't really have anything worth seeing. You got nothing." And he's provoking you again. Ooh.
Damn.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's a success with style.
Yeah, it is.
And so basically, I think that he not only does 2 more points of stress to you, but when he pokes you in the chest with the "you got nothing," it knocks you over onto your butt, and everyone laughs.
I don't know. I've got the thick fur and fat.
I'm saying this is a boost that you were off balance, and he knocks you onto your butt. And so your thick fur and fat gives you a mild consequence that you can take. Mm-hmm. It's also an aspect that you can invoke. If you want to invoke it, spend a fate point to reduce the damage. You could do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do.
Okay, so you spend
just so that I'm not winded.
Okay, well, so you have one more stress though that you still have to.
Yeah, I put it in angry because I've got 2 points for angry.
Right, but so that's you're full though now, right? In angry?
Yes.
Okay, so what that means is you are angry and frustrated and maybe not thinking clearly.
There is a subtle growl in the back of my throat.
Okay.
I will make sure that if you're injured, you don't get treatment from me.
I think at this point, well, here, I'll let that be, you can provoke and he'll resolve before we move forward with
and
that.
then I want to walk away.
Okay.
Because I don't, I'm definitely going to walk away.
No, I'm going to compel you that you don't.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Well, yeah, I think,
don't.
Okay.
However...
Yeah, so
you got a -1.
Yeah. So he basically did not expect that you would basically actually sort of threaten him in that way. Mm-hmm. So he does actually take 2 more points of stress from that attack. But I think what he does next is he just turns to all of the others and just says, "You see that? You see that? You make reasonable complaints on this ship and they promise to deny you medical treatment? This ship is out of control." And you're angry.
Oh yeah, I'm very angry.
And in fact, I think what he is actually, does he get to?
I don't have my weapon on me because I would not carry it in this instance.
I think he is going to spend a fate point to invoke your angry aspect, and he is actually going to invoke it in his rapport. No, what he's doing now is he is provoking everyone else to think you're out of control, and he is invoking how angry you look to support it.
Can I counter that with cute and fluffy?
Yeah,
to make it look like he's picking on her.
If you cancel his invoke, no, see, because you're gonna. I'm sorry, I don't think you can stop him from doing this.
It was.
No, that's reasonable. So it's this is going to clear your angry track because he's invoking it though. So it'll be clear. But he's going to get a +2, and I'm going to have him roll this. He's trying to get a +3 to try to persuade the other people in the bar here that you're out of control. And he gets a +2 to this roll. Oh, yeah. Oof. So I think what you find now that the red is clearing a little bit, now that you're no longer angry, you realize.
So it clears all of my angry?
Yes.
Or just one? Okay.
You are no longer angry, and it clears all the stress in that box.
Gotcha.
But you realize now that everyone else in the bar is looking at you like you're out of line and this is inappropriate. You've made things worse.
Yeah, no shit. Because I am not the personnel person, I am the science person.
Never send a teddy bear to do a farmer's job.
That's right. So I am going to invoke my friggin' healer's oath.
Yeah.
And not punch anybody in the face.
Okay.
Or the crotch. Given reach.
Or
So I'm not going to make you invoke that for now, but what I will say is that having the let's see. You know what? I'll let you spend the fate point to counteract. Okay. So what this will be instead is that my compel of chip on your shoulder makes you not walk away. You can spend a fate point to refuse the compel.
Okay.
Yep.
And I'll let you do that.
I'll do that.
Okay.
And then I'm going to walk away, and I'm going to look it up and be like, "This was your idea?
It could have gone better. Yeah, you're okay."
So we're going to now cut up to Shem running simulations, and you're working on that. Is this up in the bridge?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're going to find suddenly that there is an alien that you don't know standing behind you, and you look at this guy, and just to give a mental image to everybody, imagine a 7-foot tall rhino guy. Now we can make him a little bit more alien-like, like he's got 6 eyes and a big scar down one cheek, and he's wearing sort of like battle mercenary armor.
Yeah, and blue fur.
Yeah, there you go, blue fur. And so I think he is. You kind of he just sort of clears his throat. You realize like he's behind you in an area that passengers are really not allowed up here.
Mm-hmm. So I'll turn around and say, "Can I help you, sir?"
Yeah. So I want to make a proposition to you. I know we're going through the asteroid field, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, what's it worth to you to have the ride be a little bumpy? I'm going to compel that you're desperate for cash.
Yeah. No, and no, that was me self-compelling. It's like, all right, so how much would I take for making the ride a little bumpy? And honestly, I'd almost do it for free because it's almost guaranteed to be a little bumpy anyway.
I'm saying take the money.
Yeah,
and then
I think.
Yeah, and I think he says the bumpier the better, short of getting us all actually killed.
I don't know if I can do really, really bumpy because we've got other people and we've got some fragile cargo. Maybe.
But then
maybe
again, maybe there's more credits in it for you. So I'm just saying.
Yeah. I can maybe for 20 credit boxes. I can do mostly bumpy and add some jerky into it too.
The key here is passengers are going to notice.
Yeah. And then that's going to get me in trouble with the captain. I can maybe do 10 credits boxes worth of bumpy without getting in too much trouble. They'll notice a little bit, but I can't go all the way to almost ramming us into an asteroid. Yeah, let's set it at 10, and it's kind of jerky and bumpy, because I think that'll still be safe, but it'll still be noticeable.
10 credits boxes is a lot of credits.
I know. How much is it worth to you to have this trip be just a little bit bumpy?
I'm just thinking that you need the credits.
I do need the credits.
So what we're going to do is we're going to have you roll competing haggle rolls.
I have no haggle.
Well, good for
roll
you.
with no bonus.
Technically, this guy doesn't either. So you're both just rolling straight. You're both rolling straight 4DF.
Did he invoke the aspect, though?
I compelled the... we're self-compelling that she's open to taking money to make the ride bumpy.
-1.
Oh, okay. So not great, but yeah. So I think what he says is, I think you're going to make it bumpy enough for people to notice for 5 credits. Credit boxes.
Because in the back of my head, I've been running these simulations for a while. I kind of have the idea that it's going to be bumpy no matter what I do.
Always best to be paid for things he would have done anyway.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I can make it a little bumpy for 5 credits. I can take that deal. Half now and half when you get it when we get back to the planet and drop off our people.
Oh no. You get the credits when it's been bumpy.
Show a good faith. I'm doing a favor for you. You do a little favor for me.
All right. Well.
After all, I don't want you to say, "Oh, it wasn't bumpy enough."
Well.
I'm just saying.
Half now. But I'm warning you. If me and my client feel it has been not bumpy enough, we're going to come talk to you again.
Well, that's fine.
And just keep in mind, maybe I know what I'm doing. And he actually drops down to you a bunch of little electrical components, and you realize it's the lock panel for the bridge that he is just like he has broken the lock on the bridge door. And then he wanders back out. And I think that's probably where we'll stop for today. All
So,
right.
yeah, I have a question about the way you're going to handle fate points. Are we going to
Okay.
get our refresh at the beginning of the next session
Yes.
normally, or are we considering it all one session?
No, it'll be
Okay.
a new refresh.
Okay. Good. Good.
All right. So
'Cause, the goal is to end your session with 0 fate points. That's the goal.
Well,
Alright.
I still have 4 left over.
Yeah.
Oh.
All
Didn't
right.
use them all.
that's all right though.
This
you know,
has been
you,
a lot of
you,
fun, a
you
lot
have
of
some
laughs
because
already.
you got compelled to do some things that are complicating.
You know, you don't send the teddy bear in to go and calm people down. This is a bad idea.
It's
Yeah.
okay. You'll learn.
All right.
Yeah.
So, I think as a just sort of a general statement, I hope you guys had fun.
Oh yeah.
And we've got some setup and some threats on the horizon, some mysteries of what exactly is going on in a couple of things, and we'll see next time. How the adventure continues on This Space for Rent.
Roll credits.
Yeah. To be continued. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, I love the little intro that you did. That was
Oh,
amazing.
Yes.
I was like, oh, it's Deep Space Nine intro.
All right.
I was definitely thinking Red Dwarf, but
I've
It
never
is
seen Red Dwarf,
designed
so.
to evoke all sorts of different things. We'll go ahead and stop the broadcast for now. But thank you for playing, and thank you to everyone who is listening and or watching. And we'll be back for more next time on This Space for Rent.
yay.